Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of the Dusty Thunder Podcast. This is the special. I'm just kidding. I wasn't.
Oh, I was like,
we're starting already. My God, there was no warm up. There was no anything. It was just like
we're just diving right in.
There was my fancy new shoes.
Early Christmas present. Shocker.
I didn't shave my legs. Don't look at that.
Those look like new shoes too.
Mine?
His aren't new.
They look new.
No.
Your shoes always look clean and new. These are clean and new because I just never wear them because they're all white and I'm scared to
You're
wear them.
scared to mucker them up?
I'm scared to wear them.
Luckily, you waited for a not rainy or muddy day.
I know. I thought about that, but I knew it wasn't going to rain. If it was going to rain today, I wouldn't have worn them.
We'll just stay away from our pool in the back.
Yeah.
There's a pool back there.
Wunderbar.
Yeah. I messaged.
We're a little worried about it freezing in here because it's so cold. Just have a little ice. Actually, we can have a little ice skating rink. Do a little Christmas little.
I know we may need to crank.
Speaking of ice skating, Navy Thunder was
enchanted
by the ice skaters down off the Bentonville Square. She just wanted to sit there and watch.
Yeah, she was just. It was like the sweetest thing. And then somebody crashed.
Like, oh no!
Don't look.
That's probably why she wanted to watch.
I don't know if I've ever been. I think I went ice skating once when I was younger, but I don't know. I'm not coordinated enough.
It takes a lot of ankle strength.
Fall.
Pat Mahomes would never be able to.
I would break everything. Like I'd be the guy that just like like the guy you see like that and just down.
He's trying to run on skates.
Give me the little PVC thing they give kids at the skating rink or roll around on. Like that would be me because I'd just be like, oh. Yeah.
There were two crashes. First of all, like the people in this ice skating rink were moving way too fast.
It was very small too.
They were very small and they were like speed skating around. I'm like, y'all are just asking for trouble. And one of the guys who was going, he thought he was Apollo Ono. He was like flying around way too fast.
The biggest crush on Apollo Anton Ono.
Really?
When I was younger.
Interesting.
He was captivating.
Well, I'll have my speed skating suit delivered forthwith.
It was me and like my friend group in high school. Like we were just like, he was so handsome. And he won the medals. I mean, what?
We went. Have you ever?
What more could a high school girl want?
I think I went one time up at Crown Center, like in Kansas City, like downtown. They have that, like they always have that ice skating down there.
I've never been.
We went one time after a Chiefs game, me and some friends, and
sounds like a terrible idea.
I did not partake in the ice skating part of it, but they did. I don't know how. I mean, we weren't like super drunk, but we were drunk enough
to not have sharp objects on your feet.
Drunk enough to think that going ice skating was a good idea, but they had a lot of fun with it. I just stood there and watched because I was like, number one, I probably couldn't do this sober. Number two, I'm not doing this right now. Yeah.
I would love to see Ted.
That was like 10 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Try to ice skate. I think that would be a sight.
Ted could not ice skate.
Ted's not a fan.
Ted would just be laying on the ice rink doing like snow angels. And like, I can't get up. I live here now.
I went when I was like 13, and that was when they did it at a Precious Moments in Carthage.
I've never put on a pair of ice skates in my life.
Like I could picture you ice skating. I could see you as an ice skater.
I have very delicate ankles.
But also you are Calamity Candy, so I could see.
I know. I'm either going to be really good or it's just going to be calamitous.
Yeah, I could see you hurting yourself doing that.
Speaking of ice skating, my like number one bucket list thing right now is to like do all of the things that Kevin did in Home Alone 2. Like
in New York City.
Mm-hmm. That's my goal. Like the skating, you know, like where the bandits were.
You want to bump into Donald Trump in a hotel and
I don't think that would happen.
Asking for directions.
I don't think that would. But I want to get the little thing that you talking to.
You want to feed the birds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to befriend a homeless lady?
Yep.
Be in the attic of the symphony.
All of it. A little hot chocolate. Stay at the hotel.
Be chased through New York City by creepy dudes. Yeah, totally. I mean, you got to get the full experience.
Yep.
Gots to.
But who else watched that movie as a kid and was like, I want that experience?
Yeah, it's magical.
With the pizza and the limo?
I mean, Home Alone 2.
I don't even like pizza.
Home Alone 2 just wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't Home Alone 1. It wasn't Home Alone 1.
It absolutely was. It is one of the only sequels.
Exactly the same movie. It's exactly the same movie, just in a different place.
It's one of the only sequels to top the first one. Or be just as good as the first.
I don't know about topping the first.
Pizza, limo, slime, turtle doves.
Stand down, Tony. Stand down. You will not win this battle.
I'm just saying. Home Alone, but the original Home Alone was like...
it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
To me, Home Alone 2 was good. I'm not saying Home Alone 2 is bad. I'm just saying Home Alone 2 is literally copy and paste the first movie. It's just in a different location. It's the same.
Yeah, it's New York City.
They forget him
at
somewhere.
Christmas time.
They forget him. Oh no, how did we do this again? Blah, blah, blah. Running the same guys, the same thing. It was all the same, but it was good.
That's not true because he made it to the airport that time. He just got on the wrong plane. It's totally different.
And no one noticed he happened to not be on the plane until he landed.
Freaking Catherine O'Hara. Tell you what.
Moira was...
so on brand for Moira.
Moira has never really kept really good track of her kids.
He grew up to be David.
Yeah, how many did I have?
Oh my gosh.
You know who's the worst, though?
We spent time together. We were in the same house. Separate wings, but still.
That's
How
the
about
attic.
that asshole uncle, though?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Frank.
Like, what a dick.
He's a moocher.
That guy's the worst.
He's the character that like a lot of these stories are written about. He's
This
like
is
that
real
family
crystal.
member.
Put it in your purse. Put it in your purse.
Like, it was... Yeah, that guy's the worst. Look what you did, you little jerk. Like, who calls a little kid a jerk?
He has that on a shirt.
I do.
Frank's an asshole.
Also, the movie It scared me so bad when I was younger. So I just imagined the clown as Tim Curry in Home Alone 2 to like heal my broken soul after watching the movie It.
Didn't Home Alone 2 didn't even use the same movie recording to do the whole shooting and everything? Yeah.
What
It's
was
the
that?
same movie.
Yeah. I'm going to give you to the count of
3.
Yeah.
1.
To get your lion. No good. What's it?
Yellow belly keister off my property.
No, it's like 4 flesh and carcass off my
Oh, yeah.
doorstep or something. 1, 2, 10. There's when they all crawl out of the room.
Yeah, they're all.
It's epic. It's the best
good.
holiday movie for me.
It really is good. We need to watch that.
You like the second over the first?
There's just something about New York at Christmas. And it's probably not even great. Like, I've never been to New York City, but in the movies, sound like a real Midwesterner.
Mm-hmm.
In the movies,
They're on a TV.
it looks enchanting and beautiful and magical.
I'll tell you what, we just need to go there. We just need to go to New York City and experience Christmas there, just that one time, and then it'd be such a bad time.
You'd probably hate all the people.
You'd never
You guys
look
would
at it
hate
the
all
same.
the people.
Well, that's if you can get past all the drones that are,
Lord.
surrounding the eastern seaboard right now. You'd have to fight your way through that first.
I feel like you guys would hate the people and the crowds and the lines.
I think if we don't have to drive, if we're just like walking or Ubering.
I'll tell you what, if we could shut down Rockefeller Center
Mm-hmm.
and have a private experience there,
Yeah, should we just call them up and be like, listen,
Yeah.
that would be ideal.
we've got Dusty Thunder here.
That's right. They film movies there all the time.
Pulls
I'm
a
sure
lot of
we can
weight,
shut
I'm
it
sure,
down.
in New York City.
I don't know if you've heard, but Dusty Thunder would like to have Rockefeller Plaza closed for this.
Look, here's the deal. There's no budget for this production, but if you don't do it, he might read a story about you, and you might be an asshole.
Yeah,
that's about as threatening as it gets.
I have no doubt that you would try to do that, though.
To shut it down for you.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I would.
Aww.
He would
I
try.
would.
And then he would get pissed off that they wouldn't do it. He'd be like, who do you think you are? They'd be like, I'm sorry, sir. What did you say? Rusty who?
Rusty Blunder.
Rusty Clodhopper. It's me.
Crusty Wonder.
Yep.
Yikes.
Okay, so this is actually going to be the Christmas episode of the Dusty Thunder
Merry
podcast.
Christmas.
So we just kind of segued in here with some
Happy
rando
holidays.
conversations. As you can see, we are
Merry
all
Christmas.
Christmased up for you today. I got my Santa hat on even. Tony Sparks got his Chiefs Antlers hat on, plus
There's
his
antlers. Oh.
Brudolph shirt here. KB
Rudolph,
Thunder's
yeah.
rocking the bows.
Got Rudolph drinking a beer here. You know,
Rudolph.
very festive, very Ted-like.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Even got he's got ornaments hanging from his antlers. I should have put some ornament. I did have when we went to the Chiefs game wearing this. Like I would wrap around the like necklace lights, you know,
Nice.
and have it in there so there'd be lights on it. But
Are you going to the Chiefs game on Christmas?
I'm not this time.
You know what we ought to do? So I've got like the antlers that clip onto your car, right?
Uh-huh.
We should attach those to the beer hat that you wore to the last Chiefs game.
Oh,
And then you could have an antlered beer
Then you
hat.
would be Brudolph.
Ooh.
that is true. I do have an iron. Tina gave me an iron-on
I'll see
patch
myself out.
that I can iron on the Chiefs logo on.
Oh,
that
for
patch.
That's so
Okay.
perfect.
There you go.
Maybe for the playoffs. I don't think I'm going to. Well, I think that's the only home game left, isn't it?
Are they?
No, I think we played Denver at home.
I'm not
Last
sure.
game of
We'd
the
have to
year. I
look.
can't remember.
Mhm.
But
No, that Denver
probably
game
the
is at.
playoff. I don't think I'm
Denver.
going to go. I probably won't go to another game till the playoffs.
Well, I mean, there's 3
But I will
games
wear the beer
in the
hat.
next, 11 days? 10 days now?
Yeah.
That's
2
freaking
more.
bonkers.
I love how everybody keeps giving Patrick Mahomes so much shit that his stats aren't up to par. But we talked about this, but Tom Brady only played for 23 years and only won 7 Super Bowls, which is amazing.
Only.
I say only because
But percentage wise,
he's at 32% of his career,
Yeah.
and Patrick Mahomes is currently sitting at 38% win ratio of the Super Bowl.
People have just recency bias too. They don't they'll talk about the Chiefs being bad and is it over? Is this dynasty? Blah blah blah. I'm like, Brady went 10 years between winning Super Bowls,
and that's why I'm I don't
10 years.
understand how
It's
it's
a long time.
Mahomes hasn't even played 10 years yet,
right. Yeah, he's got 8 years in.
But it's everybody the narrative and the people's mindsets and it's just right now. This is what happened right now last year. And I seem to recall last year about this time of year when everybody hated the Chiefs, it was doubting the Chiefs. No, they look bad. They look bad. They look bad. They go win the Super Bowl. Then after the Super Bowl, everybody says, "That's it. I'm never doubting the Kansas City Chiefs again. I'm never going to say that they can't do anything again."
And here we
And
go.
what happens every week this season? Boy, they look bad. Oh, this isn't going to be good. No, they ain't it. They can't do it. They can't do it. And it's did you guys just forget everything that you said?
Yeah, however,
this time of year is Josh Allen is amazing, best quarterback ever. He's going to blow through the Chiefs in the playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes sucks. And that's literally the same narrative from last year.
Well, yeah, and that's the same narrative that starts in July and goes from July till mid-October.
Right.
And then Josh Allen inevitably loses something goes bad, and they do that. And then it goes back to somebody else. And then about this time of year, it's oh, the Bills. Here's the Bills. And then inevitably they're going to get beat by the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs.
I don't know.
And everybody's gonna be sad again. And
Josh Allen looks great though. He really does.
He always does.
I think he
always does, but the rest of the team is what lets him down.
He's
it does feel different this year though. I mean, watching the Chiefs this year, it does feel different, and I'm sure they're working on developing some part of their game. But it definitely does feel different. And when those long balls happen, which is much less frequent now, but when they happen, it's not nearly a success rate like it was before. But we don't have...
Patrick couldn't hit the broadside of a barn yesterday when throwing more than 20 yards.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know if it was windy because it was raining yesterday. So I don't know if it was wind.
20 miles per hour.
I mean, he missed. I was like, what? I mean, missed it by a mile every time. And I'm like, what are we doing? And then for some reason, Andy Reid decides for half of every game to just forget that we have 2 A-list running backs on our team and just decides to stop running the ball. Don't know where that comes from. But also at the same time, though, last year, at this point, we'd lost 5 out of 6, and it was oh, gee, are we going to figure it out, or what's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's well, we're 13-1, so
yeah, that's true.
Be fine.
Well, and last year
it'll be fine, or it won't.
Last year it was right around the playoffs where everybody was starting to fall apart, and we were coming together.
Yeah.
And this year is obviously different, but
the defense looked great yesterday for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
defense
they were
is
playing
stellar.
lights out.
I mean, 6 turnovers. That's wild.
Yeah, and for us to still only win by as much as we did.
I know. But you know what? Hey, we won by 2 touchdowns. It was never even close the entire time.
Which was different.
But it felt close.
It's
a weird feeling.
Well, it's because I think in that third quarter, it felt like
the Browns had some momentum.
We played really bad in that third quarter.
Yeah.
And it was bad. The offense couldn't get anything going. And I told Gary, I was like, luckily Jameis is addicted to turnovers and addicted to throwing interceptions.
Poor guy.
But
that one that bounced off the player,
that was
that was a very cool
Also,
play.
I thought that Hopkins caught that ball.
I did too.
That was going to be the craziest catch I've ever seen in my life. Or batted it, he had it and it popped out and
nicked
then
the ground.
Again, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
If anybody was going to make it.
I was like, I thought that was it, but no, it's fine.
It would be bonkers. Okay, so pivoting back away from Chiefs because I know
back to Christmas.
Not everybody cares. Back to Christmas time. We did go and see the lights in Northwest Arkansas over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was a magical time. Navy Thunder, of course, was in awe of everything, but we didn't think ahead and be like, hey, we need to make sure there's no special events going on down there on the Bentonville Square.
There was a damn parade. There was no parking. It was insane.
I told Tony Spark, I'm like, it was like being transported back to leaving the Chiefs game whenever I got stuck for 45 minutes.
I was like, is he gonna he's having flashbacks over here about being
it was
it was not good.
I don't normally get frustrated in traffic. It doesn't stress me out. he gets very stressed. He hates lines like that and traffic not moving.
He also hates. I think he hates stupidity too. He hates stupid.
And
people,
there was a lot of stupidity
that frustrates
happening.
him more than anything else.
But I was flaming frustrated, and I was like, dear. And it was just like people just parked in the road, like on the curb, like half end in the curb, part in the road, and it was just like nobody could go through the side streets, and they had all the streets closed down. And I'm like, so we finally park, go see the lights, and we're leaving. And there's one car in this parking lot, us and another car. We're driving out, and all of a sudden, this one car backs out in front of us, like right in front of us, and we're like, okay. And then they pull up to the exit and don't move and just sit there.
Solid 30 seconds.
He was like,
get off your phone.
He finally beeped the horn.
I bet he was cool, calm, and collected.
No, it was just so funny. He was like, what? I don't even understand. But I mean, it was like they cut us off, and he was like, oh, whatever, I'm going to be patient. It was a moment. And then he sat there, and I was like, oh my gosh, go. Holly jolly.
This is the same guy who parked, and the way that he parked blocked an entire parking lot, like blocked the entrance to it. And yeah, sure as shit, he shows up while we're leaving, and as soon as we're pulling away, reversed. Didn't even look. I'm like, I know you have a backup camera. I know that thing was beeping at you as you were backing up into me. Maybe put your phone down and understand that there's things happening outside of your vehicle that you could actually, impact here.
He pulls out on the road going like 18, and Dustin's like, if he goes straight, I'm turning. If he turns, I'm going straight. And he went straight. And so I'm like checking the side roads on the main road. I'm like, are we going to pass him, or is he going to pass? Or are we going to get stuck behind him again? And we drive by, and he pulls up to a stop sign, and I'm like, we are victorious. Out of all this,
all the windows are rolled down, and you guys are just flipping them off through the corner.
I don't flip off. I thumbs up.
Eat shit,
good
asshole. Job. Merry Christmas.
You just roll down the window, and here's Navy Thunder, just with a little middle finger up. Just like,
I wouldn't doubt it. This kid. Oh, also, I have to talk about this because it is really exciting. For whatever reason, over the past, I'd say 5 days, she's really dove into letters. And like the letter N for her name, like she practices writing it on her own now. And like yesterday, I was in the shower, and she likes to just walk in there randomly and be like, "Hey, Dad," and I'm like, "Hey," and she's like pointed to something on my sink, and she's like, "Is that my letter?" And I'm like, yeah, it is. That's an N. And she's like, "How do you make it?" And so it was using the steam on the glass, and I was like trying to show her, and she was using the stool, and that like kind of felt that material to write the letters in, and we were working on it. The concept of like a capital N, the concept of going from the top of one line to the bottom of another is really hard for her to grasp right now. She makes an H every time. She's like, whoa. I'm like, no, like top to the bottom. Diagonal. Yeah, the diagonal line she cannot hang with right now. But she's getting
good at the vertical and the horizontal lines.
She has a natural interest right now, and it's just really interesting to see. Like she notices, and she's starting to kind of capture these letters. Yeah. I think she'll be reading in not long.
Navy Ava was really early. She was reading before she went to kindergarten, but Navy will only do stuff like to learn new things in Navy's time.
Yeah,
like. Didn't walk till 15 months. Yeah. Like there was no forcing.
She's a cat. It's got to be her idea.
And so like the letters, like we've been working with her for like a year. And like I was basing it off of like what Ava had done. And I'm like, Ava was writing her name. She was writing small sentences like at Navy's age. And, and Navy was like, I have no interest. I have no interest. I don't want to be a part of it. I will not do it. But Brady was that way too.
Yeah.
Brady was and he's so smart now. Like
very, very smart.
Things come naturally to him.
Straight A student.
Yep. And he doesn't have to put forth a lot of effort to learn things. Like he just naturally understands things. And kind of like you. But Navy, I think, is in her own time. Like it's very similar to that. Like you said, a cat.
She's probably one of those ones where you try to tell her, she's like, no.
Yes.
No, that's not what I planned for today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do that today because you want me to do that today.
You do you.
Well, I got to remember I saw a Taylor Swift sticker and coloring book thing at Walmart. I was going to tell you. I was like, nice. Don't let me forget it.
The sticker thing would be perfect.
It was like a booklet of like coloring and
be a great stocking stuffer.
Stuff.
This is also the same kid who like doesn't understand how it won't snow just because she wants it to.
She's like, I want the snow to happen.
Where is it?
Where is it?
I told you.
In New York.
I told you I wanted snow. Well, sorry, kid. I don't. It's not my department.
I thought we talked about this.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Would she a fake snow machine and just put it outside her window and just start blowing the snow outside of it? She'd wake up in the morning and Candace's like, look outside, there's snow. And Dustin's just standing there with the snow machine blowing it. Then she walks outside, he's like, it's 70 degrees.
He's shaking like the newspaper clippings above her window. I'm like in the mulch so it can be compost later for the flower
You get
bed.
some of that spray stuff and spray her window so it always looks like there's snow.
Okay, all of this cut to someday she's married and her husband is like, where the did you get these unrealistic expectations from?
She wakes up.
And she's like,
wakes
my
up
mom.
and he's like, why are you so pissed off? She's like, because you didn't make it snow. Like, where is the snow? Like, it's July. I don't care.
AITA stories will be written about Navy Thunder.
Yeah, she's gonna have her own reality show.
I think you guys in general could have your own reality show.
Yeah.
I could just have a show where I just fall over random shit.
I just think it, like if a camera, I don't think you viewers and listeners understand. If a camera followed these two around, the stories that happen in their everyday life, would they be on season like 25 of a reality show by now? Because it's just the content that keeps on going. Because
we don't even have to make it up.
Yeah, most of the time the story, like you can't make up the shit that happens to them sometimes.
It just happens.
It just happens. It's like the craziest, wildest shit. It's like, if it's going to happen to people, it's going to be the Thunders.
I don't
we
know
persevere.
what it is that attracts that calamity in the universe to us, but here we are.
It's just like it's just calamity.
The other day you said something. You're like, I'm sorry our life is so
Such a fustercluck.
a fustercluck. And I was like, it really is. But it is what it is. You just got to roll with it.
It is a fustercluck.
You try to fight against the fustercluck and you get
It's like, oh, how's your weekend? How's a fustercluck?
Every time.
another day, another fustercluck.
Just mayhem in every direction.
It's like the commercials. Was that insurance?
The mayhem guy. Yeah,
that's literally.
Like me.
If that guy ever stops doing that and they need a new one, we'll just have you two. We'll submit the ad campaign for you two to be the.
Do you think you have the calamitous life, or do you think you kind of just float on the?
I think I just
float through it.
Yeah. But see, here's the other thing with me though. Like, I think it's where our personalities are different too. Like, I'm very much just I can just go with the flow.
I want to be that.
Like, it's like it is.
I want that so bad.
I have such a mentality of so much of like it is what it is, and I'm like, okay. Like the traffic thing. Like, I would have been frustrated for a little bit, but then I was like, it was fine. Put on play some music, just sit there and be like, fine. Like, I just am a very
I don't know about that.
like I'm laid back, and that's like I just go with the flow. I don't, and I'm also very much different in the way, especially from Dusty, of like, I don't need a plan. I can be spontaneous. I don't need it.
I can
Shit
do
can
that.
change like that, and I'm like, okay, this is
That
what we're
doesn't
doing
bother
now.
me.
Like, what are we doing now? Okay.
Yes, I know that doesn't bother you.
It rolls. That
And Dusty
stuff
has
rolls
every
off.
minute planned out on the deal, and I'm like, well, let's go do this. We're supposed to do this later. It, we'll do that later.
Yep.
It's fine. Like,
I'm a man who always has a plan, married to a woman who never has a plan. And we try.
that's like his story. He's like, well, he's like, Kenny Thunder will be here at some point. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm planning 11:45 because it's supposed to start at 11. I
Hey,
usually give
this is not my
Candy
fault.
45 to 53 minutes, somewhere in that range after the time. And that's when I know it's going to, I have that mentally built in.
I was on time today, but I got my nails done by a second grader, and I had to ask them to clean it up twice, and there's still red paint on the bottom of my hand.
Good times.
They look nice.
This is why I'm just not going to
They
do them
look
anymore.
nice.
Good times.
You say that.
I don't
But
like getting my
then-
nails done. I just like having them.
You
done.
like the result of them, and like,
I like how it makes me feel.
You like the process.
well, and the
though.
last time you had a fuster cluck of it taking forever.
It did take forever.
What did it take?
But
Like
they
an
were
hour and a
beautiful.
half, or like
Yeah.
it took forever.
It's a really
I
long
don't know.
time.
I don't know the time that it usually takes to do nails.
Um,
As you can see, I haven't had mine done in a while, so I don't know how.
he
long
was
it
tracking
takes.
on time, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. It's gonna be 10:45. It's gonna be great. I'll be at the office by 11." And then I was like, "Is that gonna come off when I wash my hands, or like, do you have to take that off?" And he was like, I'm like, I know you can see it. My cuticles are red all the way around them. And he was like, okay. He was looking at him, and I was like,
You're like, is there words here?
I was like, and so he tried to fix it. He's like, "Is that good?" And I was like, "No."
You trying to overline my fingernails to make it look like I have bigger lips?
Exactly
like, what is going on? We have a lot of stories lined up for you today. Are these all Christmas themed?
They are all Christmas stories.
Holy cow.
Happy holidays.
I think I've only...
Happy
Candy
Christmas.
Thunder has picked them all out. I think I only know 2 stories on here, maybe. So most of them will be...
I haven't read the last
to me
one.
as well.
I have not read the last one.
Wow.
I've read the last one. There's
But
follower submissions on here. There's AITA ones on here.
We'll find out.
Are we
you ready
voting? Are we voting? Or
Are we doing the title game? Yeah, we can do that.
I feel like instead of, I think we need to make it Christmas themed. So I know we've got the Ascon, but I feel like we should do how many reindeers or how many something. I don't know. Just trying to think Christmas theme. If we're gonna do a theme, we got to be in on the theme.
What?
I don't know. Hold on. Is Rudolph out of all the reindeer? Who's the biggest asshole? Is it Rudolph because he's got the red nose and he wants high attention?
No, it's Prancer.
It's pronounced Prancer.
Just be-
You know what though? I could see.
I'm thinking
Prancer
of the
being one that
movie.
is pronounced Prancer.
Who's in the movie in the Rudolph the Red-Nosed
One of them is an asshole. Yeah.
Who's the one that's like won't let their daughter play with Rudolph?
Is it Comet?
Might be Comet.
Because Donner is Rudolph's dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make him wear that.
Yeah.
But in the Santa Claus movies, Comet is the good one. Like Comet is the one that,
All
like,
right.
you know, in Santa Claus 2, where he rides the reindeer or whatever. And then you got Chet.
Yeah. Check.
Prancer. All right, it's Prancer.
Prancer. Shows up in a scarf, flinging a scarf on his antlers, and we're like, it's actually Prancer.
My name is Condi.
Okay, fine. We'll just stick with the Ascon deal.
Okay.
Apparently, the reindeer theme thing was off. I should have thought that out a little better.
Yeah,
I apologize.
We'll be using the ElfCon scale today.
See, like, why does he just have, like, boom, he, like, has something that sounds better immediately all the time.
Because he's a witty bastard.
I live in the shadow of Dusty Thunder.
Me too.
First story
For a
is
decade.
titled,
My
Will I be
diminishes.
the astronaut if I announced my pregnancy at my Christmas/birthday party, even though my sensitive ex would be there? Okay.
That sounds like a Christmas party.
a lot
that
to
is gonna
unpack.
involve some alcohol, and I would be sitting on the couch in the
Not for
corner
her.
drinking and just watching this happen.
This is like the TLDR of a movie called Nogged Up.
I'm gonna say 2. I think you're a 2 because I think
Elfcon
you're
2.
trying to start the drama.
Can I vote even though I know the answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, I guess it's my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NTA.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and TA as well here because it's OP's Christmas/birthday party.
Very true.
It's not like a work party. It doesn't sound like.
This almost has, without any context, of like the mother or mother-in-law who likes the ex and invited him to the party type of thing. And
I was going to say, why is the ex there?
I was going to say maybe that I could lean towards the NTA, but I said 2. I'm going to stick with 2.
Why is your sensitive ex there? That's the big
Tony's
question.
got 2 Christmas lights and we've got no Christmas lights.
Yeah. Lights out here. I, female 30, and my fiance, male 31, recently found out that we are expecting.
Oh.
We're super excited, but as private people, no one outside of our immediate families will know this is actually my second pregnancy. My first ended in miscarriage. Out of a mix of anxiety and caution, we've decided to wait until after my anatomy scan, which is the week before Christmas, to announce it publicly.
Time out. Is that where they find out if it's a boy or girl? Is that an anatomy scan or is that just...
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like you do a scan at 20 weeks. That will,
I know
like,
nothing about any of
They
this,
look at
so.
every single thing.
Gotcha.
Like, they look at like heart, kidney, I think kidneys, something, length of their bones so far. Like it's all of it, the whole from head to toe.
Is there a conjoined twin? Is there not a conjoined twin? That kind of thing.
The more you know.
I think they might.
Yeah.
They might already know that.
I think they already know there's a conjoined
I think they might have known that.
Every year, I host a big gathering for Christmas and my birthday, since they're a day apart. Friends fly in, and it's the one time my divorced parents can stand being in the same room together. Since my scan is right before the party, and I should be starting to show, I'm thinking about using the birthday part of the evening to announce the pregnancy. Here's where the maybe asshole comes in. My ex, male 32, will likely be there. We're still friends because he's close with a lot of my social circle, and we try to be civil. My fiance and ex were friends for over a decade before things went south. The TLDR of that was, my ex and I dated on and off for a year. It wasn't great. He was controlling and obsessed with the idea that I'd cuck him if I did anything without him.
What does that mean?
Cheat on him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
or make him look bad, or
isn't the whole cuckold thing like it is? If I did anything without him,
I gotta look it up.
I don't
think
know how
it
the
means
use of
like make
cuck
him
means.
look bad by hanging out with some other people, like dudes maybe, or
I thought the whole cuckold thing was like spouse sharing but watching. It's like voyeurism, but
I just think
like watching your spouse
it's like
sleep with somebody else and watching.
Yeah. So a cuck says a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, a cuckold.
So cheating.
And then also a weak or servile.
Servile.
Say a weak or servile man, often used as a contemptuous term for a man with moderate or progressive political views. What?
Okay.
Basically cheat on him.
It says, use it in a sentence, we act like a bunch of cucks who let them take what they want.
Okay. So she'd run over him, basically, with the idea that I'd cuck him if I did anything without him. We'll cuck you too, buddy. Several months after our final breakup, my fiance and I started dating. My ex demanded my fiance choose between their friendship and me. My fiance chose me. My ex then spread rumors that we cheated. We lost a lot of friends, and the ones who stayed neutral are why he's still at gatherings. If they're invited, excluding him feels awkward. No, it wouldn't.
I don't think.
Cuck that guy. Even though my fiance and I have been together for over a year now, my ex seems to have some lingering feelings or bitterness. He refuses to acknowledge our engagement, and the energy is always off when I see him. Some friends think he's still grieving, but my fiance thinks we should cut him and those who defend him off. As for me, I'm trying to maintain peace with the friends who stuck around after the pandemic. None of our friends know we even want kids. I was the oldest sibling of many and used to joke that I had done my time raising kids. I had an IUD and was actually scheduled for a tubal ligation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had an IUD and was actually scheduled for a tubal ligation, but I got pregnant against all odds. That first pregnancy and the subsequent miscarriage changed my heart about having kids. Since our friends don't know about that, this announcement will come as a surprise, especially to my ex. And yes, it's half a Christmas party, so I can give my friends and family their gifts, but everyone's really there for my birthday. So, will I be the astronaut if I announced my pregnancy after the Christmas party of the evening during my birthday portion? Edited to add a few points. I don't invite my ex. My attempts to ban him were met with hostility, and someone brings him anyway. Well, cuck them too.
They're not her friends.
Yeah.
Quitting the friend group will freeze me out of a hobby I've had since childhood. Its niche requires a group, and ex isn't even in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
fiance likes most of these people still, and they never bring up ex's feelings or ask fiance to tolerate ex. They only seem to demand it of me. Additional info from OP. This is exactly the problem, and it's so nice to see it spelled out this way. The friends who sided with ex are still friends with the people who remain neutral, and if I can't remain neutral and be the bigger person, the friends of friends network kicks in, and I get shut out completely. I am already the only woman in the niche hobby group, which singles me out in plenty of uncomfortable ways, and with no other local groups to pivot to, it's navigate these people or lose the hobby I've had since childhood. My scene in my hometown was still more guys than girls, but there were enough girls that we were able to band together and not run into these kinds of bro code behaviors and expectations. The most frustrating part is that my ex isn't even in this hobby. He met these friends through a different hobby in the same group participates in, that is all men. He has no interest in my hobby, but he invades my hobby activities because he's friends with the same group of people and they like him and won't kick him out. We do medieval fighting. Oh, they're LARPing. Think jousting on horses, full armored combat, that kind of thing. I'm personally not fighting because of my pregnancy, but my fiance is still fighting, and I've taken over organizing and running the events. Okay.
Well, that sucks.
There's the story.
That sucks that she wouldn't be able to do something that she really enjoys if she demands that the ex not be invited. That's a rock and a hard place.
Also, your friends are dicks.
Yeah. They're putting it's what she said, like a bro code kind of thing. Yeah. Total dicks for not respecting that. Bringing your ex to your birthday party, like, especially when the ex is not cordial to her. That's a
And when the friends
move.
know that she's tried to not bring him to those events and does not want him there, and they know that they don't want him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's not even involved in the hobby. I was thinking here for a second. I know in a lot of these groups, the hierarchy within the group while they're gaming, it's like if they have a king, there is some authority that kind of transcends, right? So there's some like,
Okay.
well, hell, if he was royalty within their
But he's not
group,
part
then
of
he's
that,
hobby, but he's
right?
not part of the group. So there's none of that to justify this coming over.
It just feels like bro code.
These are people that you do a hobby with. That doesn't mean you have to be friends with them, right? Like, do you have to have these people as part of your friend group that comes over for your birthday parties?
Maybe she feels like she has to, or she'll be kicked out of that group if she doesn't include them in her friend group circle.
Okay, here, this,
you know what I mean? Like if she's like, oh, like if I don't include them, they're gonna.
I understand.
They won't include her in the actual hobby
Right.
or like allow her to take part in it.
But also, you're getting ready to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I think when you're faced with situations like this and you're having a whole lot of trouble seeing the big picture and making what you know is the right decision, think ahead to the future and put your kid in this position. What would you want them to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it as a parent and what would you want them to do? And I would want my kids to absolutely not put up with this group of ass bags with
Right.
these armor-clad ass bags. Like, what? These people aren't a positive influence on your life at all. They're only a negative draw. And yes, you enjoy the hobby. And now, okay, your fiance is in the hobby too, which does complicate things. But
I thought she said the fiance doesn't care about the hobby.
No, he said he's
took,
in it.
But he said that he wanted to cut him off. Everyone that was still insisting that he. So he seems like he has her back, and it's like it's up to her. He's letting it be up to her, but he's ready to go either way.
So fiance needs to make a power play in real life and in the game.
That would be a way to fight the bro code.
Yeah.
With the fiance would have to do it.
Climb to some position of authority so that the people within this community can't push her around. Like, number one, stand up for your partner. Let him do that. And I know there's internal dissension there about which way to go, but you're nearing a point where it's going to be less of a choice and more of a necessity. You don't need that negative shit around when you're growing a baby inside your body.
And also that it's something that's supposed
kid.
to be happy and exciting, and like this is a big thing, and now you're like stressing about all this other stuff and these people because which is ruining your moment. Like you shouldn't have to worry about offending somebody or doing that. Like this is your baby, this is your thing.
It's not even like they had a long-term relationship. She said it was off and on for a year. Like, that's not really
off and on for a year, meaning like they weren't even together for part of it, like a whole year. Like,
and he obviously has some major issues. He has some self-worth.
I just think it's really shitty of the friends knowing that she tried to ban him from coming to this thing and they keep bringing him.
Yeah.
That's a shit move.
Well, you know what? If she makes the announcement, that probably is step one to drawing the line in the sand and being like,
get him out. That's solidifying that relationship will never happen again. She's having a baby with somebody else. They're getting married.
It could also elicit a childish response from him, which would put it in the spotlight for everybody else who's there to be like, hey, okay, see guys, this is why this can't happen.
But I think she's also worried about the fallout that'll happen from that, not just from her ex, but the friends being like, wow, that was a really shitty thing to do to him. Well, like when he was here.
Yeah, he wasn't even invited.
I know, but I think that if her friends already invite him, friends already want him there, and then they could gang up on her and be like, "What? That was."
You have your answer.
Then you have your answer because these people are shitty.
Yeah,
I mean, they're shitty for bringing him, and if that's what you're worried about, you shouldn't be worried about that because if they do that, then they've shown their true colors of who they want to be.
I don't think that there's any way that them going clandestine here and bringing your shitty ex who you don't want there to your Christmas/birthday party where you make your baby announcement can get pissed off.
What a shitty
There's
move.
no way. There's no way that they can get mad about that. And if they do, they're just showing their true colors anyway. And everybody else who hasn't picked a side here will see that they are ass bags and will choose your side. I think it's a brilliant first play. However, I think you need to have the next 7 moves planned out.
It's like a flow chart. Yeah. If this happens, then this happens.
You need to plan this out like a battle. You know what I mean? Like start thinking about
not me. I'd be like
your swing votes and potential allies and people who are firmly in his camp. And like you need to think about this like a battle and start moving one step at a time, but think 10 steps ahead.
With the end result being this guy, get out.
Cuck this guy.
The question was, would she be the asshole for announcing her pregnancy?
No.
Nope.
No.
I retract my Ascon too. I was wrong.
Yeah. You need to completely cuck this guy out of your life.
Your friends are like Ascon 2, Ascon 1.
They're not friends.
It's funny because she said the relationship didn't work out because he was controlling. He's still controlling.
Yeah.
He's still controlling. which means
to your
he's
Christmas
got
and birthday
some-
party, and he's got this cloud hanging over
Yeah.
you of just like influencing everything.
He's using a literal medieval army to influence your life.
Have you ever seen like LARPing thing?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
They do it at the park.
That's what I was saying.
I feel like though
We're on a
I do
lunch
want
date
to.
and saw
I
it.
feel like people don't like that term.
Do you-
though.
like when we first
They don't like
started dating.
LARPing? That's what it's called.
I know,
Live
but I
action role
think-
playing.
I know, but I think that I heard somewhere they don't like that.
Oh, that's not okay.
Oh,
now.
we don't use the term LARPing anymore.
I'm sorry
Apologies.
if it is. We're very unfamiliar.
Medieval
with that world.
fighting.
The only thing I know about it is in the movie Role Models. Have you seen Role Models?
Yeah.
That's the kid that Paul Rudd like is the big
Yeah.
brother to, whatever. Yeah, they're LARPing. And
Yeah.
Ken Jeong is like the king, and they do all that. But again, it was the girl, and he goes and kills the king and takes over all the thing and whatever, and then they get some respect, and maybe that's what.
See,
she needs to do.
there's some authority that comes
I don't
within
know.
that.
That's
Yes.
all I know about that. Is
That was a date early on too.
It
Wasn't
was a lunch date.
Yeah, it was a lunch date. I
We were
had come
both
and
on our
picked you up
lunch break.
from your old employer.
And you
Mhm.
guys went LARPing.
No,
No,
we went to the park to eat
Oh.
lunch. And
We went
just
to
sit
the
in
park to
car.
make out. Let's be realistic.
Yeah, but they were LARPing there. Or medieval fighting, if LARPing is not okay.
I'm
Are you?
kidding.
Are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were going to get out of the car, but they were having like an event.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were doing their own sword fighting, so couldn't. It's not really sword fighting if there's only one sword.
They were doing
I don't
their-
know.
They were
I
doing.
like Dwight.
They were already. I think you were looking for jousting, not.
In a car during the daytime, the park. What kind of woman do you take me for?
Just trying to make you my medieval winch. It didn't work out so well. Okay, so we're NTA on this one. Right?
NTA.
Okay, we
You
ready?
would not be the asshole.
We ready for the next one?
Get rid of those quote unquote friends.
Just reading the title of this next one. Like, wowza. Okay. Title of our next story is Am I the Astronaut for Cock Blocking at the Work Christmas Party?
Do we need to look that one up, or do we all know what that one means?
But I've been
it's
aware.
not cock blocking. It's
I know what cock blocking is.
I'd be a little worried about Googling it.
It's very self-explanatory in that one.
I'm gonna
You
say
block the cock.
I'm gonna say NTA here.
I know the story. I read it.
Do you know the story?
I do. And I will go NTA. You want to vote?
I abstain from voting.
Tony Sparks.
NTA. I'll say NTA or 4.
It's like Tony Sparks.
Slash Ascon
He's gonna
4.
cock block the vote here.
Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday we had our work Christmas party at a popular driving range locally. The driving range has a bar and serves food and such. My coworker Kelly, 40 female, is the head of our social committee and planned the event. The majority of us stayed in our booth until they told us they had a reservation after and needed to give it up. We had so much fun and I wanted to tell her that and offer a suggestion for the next event. I thought maybe she had already left. However, to my surprise, she was sitting at the bar chatting and laughing with some dude. Based on the body language, I could tell he wasn't just there for a friendly intent. Background info, she is married with a kid and we have hung out after work, so we are more than just coworkers at this point. Our coworkers I was with started to stare and whisper about it. I walked over and sat down next to her. She was nursing her second drink while explaining to me that this was her friend she worked with virtually one summer, and they had never met in person until now, and she slid into his DMs and told him where we were and to come see her there and hang out. Here's where you can decide if I'm the asshole. I said, okay, well, I'm leaving, but I'm going to say goodbye to our boss first. I walked over to my boss and said, I'm about to leave. Don't let her go with that dude. He's giving off lusty vibes. She said she wouldn't. I got distracted on my way out and saw Kelly about to leave with him. My boss intervenes, so she stayed and didn't just walk out with him. Mission accomplished. So when I get home, I tell my husband what happened. He looked shocked. He said it wasn't my business to cockblock her at the party. She's a grown woman. But like, I know you are married. Don't flirt with another dude in front of me when I know you're married. It's disrespectful to the sanctity of marriage. I'm not conservative by any means, but like, damn, what if I did that? Invite some dude I'd never met in person to a work event, sat alone flirting at the bar? Would he be okay with that? Also, our coworkers were starting to talk, so I really saved her reputation slightly too. He doesn't agree, so Reddit, am I the cock-blocking asshole?
I have such a huge problem that her husband
Was-
is like condoning cheating.
Yeah.
That's
a red
cringy.
flag. That's a red
That is
flag.
cringe.
I
He's
mean,
like,
that's a red flag.
Don't cock block your coworker, but I'm like, married coworker.
Yeah, it sounds like he's speaking from some experience. He's like, God, I hate it when people cock-block me.
That gives off bad vibes. I would be.
Also, it's weird that it's a work thing and you invite somebody to the bar. I mean, I guess if the work thing was over, but even then you're like, oh, let's get drunk at the work I'm at my work thing with all my coworkers there who are going to see me there drinking with this random person who's not my husband.
That was a booty call. That was 100% a YOLO booty call where she had them show up to her work party and didn't care. That was like something's going on at home where she didn't give a shit. And but yeah, it's like, okay, you know what? If you want to be a nasty hoe and cheat, I'm not going to let you do it right in front of me. Sorry, I'm going to try to save what little bit of dignity you have left here and not let you make this huge life-altering, potentially career-ending mistake right in front of everybody.
That's what I was going to say. That's like intertwining your personal and professional lives in a really, really bad way.
Yes.
Like that's the part. I don't like that part, and I don't like the husband being like, don't cockblock a married woman. Oh, I would. It's gross.
The only thing I would have done different if I was OP is I may not have gotten the boss involved. I may have had one of the other coworkers do it because now I don't know. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're crossing that professional and personal line for her anyway, and getting the boss involved in it is.
I agree.
Like maybe talk to one of the other coworkers, like, hey, don't let her leave. But maybe she wouldn't have listened to one of the other coworkers either. Maybe only the boss was the one that could stop it. But that's the only part where I'm like, I don't know if I'd have gotten your boss involved.
Kind of depends on the structure and the size of the team too, right? Because if it was like our team, I mean, there are so few of us to where it's close family knit anyway, so like it wouldn't matter if it was one of the bosses because there's not that many of us to choose from, you know what I mean? But if it was, you know, a 50 plus person organization here and there's a definite hierarchy involved and it could get messy doing that. I'm guessing she was close enough with boss and boss is close enough with cockblock Jane that
I mean, the boss agreed to go do it. So the boss, by doing that, the boss probably knows her husband and you know what I mean? They probably know each other enough. I don't know.
Has an understanding of it.
I will cockblock any married person in our agency with no shame.
Big excuse me.
I'll take the asshole card.
Like, you need to take your drink. You need to get the out of here. Like, she is married.
If you're going to ruin your life, sweetie, don't do it at the work party.
I would do it too.
100%. There'd be no shame.
People will be like, she's such an asshole. I am an asshole. But guess what? You didn't
go
cheat.
Up there and be like,
some people say asshole. Hey, some people say I'm a superhero.
Your husband's on the phone. He's wondering where you're at. Also wondering if you'll bring an order of wings home for
your family.
That's right. Yeah. What are you bringing
Did you hear me?
home for dinner?
Family.
For your child.
Family, not this whore.
And even if 40-year-old, you know, Sandy Cockblock doesn't have a happy marriage at home.
Sandy Cockblock.
I don't know. I just
that got gritty.
Yikes! That's not comfortable for anybody.
This is what happens when I make up names on the fly.
Ooh, it's like a bad day at the beach.
Damn.
All right, Kelly Clockbox.
Clockbox?
Clockbox.
I said Clockbox.
Is that like one of the cuckoo clocks that hangs on the wall? Clockbox.
I give up. I don't even know what I was saying.
I don't know either.
You guys
have
derailed me.
Boxes and gritty.
You derailed the clock box.
Sandy Cockblocks.
Kelly Clockbox.
NTA.
NTA. Your husband and Sandy are.
I would think that there's a conversation needing to happen with that.
Yeah.
Because that's a red flag that your husband's like, why didn't you let her cheat?
Yeah.
Because cheating is bad.
And she's like, the sanctity of marriage. And he's like, yeah, you cockblocked her.
That's just such a bro statement.
That's weird. Yeah.
But also, why would you make that statement to your wife? Like,
not
you're condoning cheating. Like, you're saying that cheating, you're like, well, you should have let her cheat. I mean, I get the point where the point where he's making is like, she's a grown woman. She makes her own decisions. But, you know, still.
Some people.
Morally, you can't sit there and like not do it, I would feel like.
Okay, as an unmarried person, if you saw someone who you knew was married sitting at the bar flirting and it looked like it could go to the next stage, do you think that you would step in, or do you think that that would be inappropriate? No,
I think you gotta step in. You gotta be like, because like especially, I mean, in a situation like that, like, one, if alcohol's involved, like, you're not thinking right anyway. You're gonna really let some stupid decision in the moment ruin your life.
That was premeditated though.
That's
she
true.
messaged him and
That's
told
true.
him.
That's true.
That's why it was a booty call.
But still, it's like,
Yeah. So they hooked up after the party.
Probably.
oh, maybe.
When she left, she was like, I'll call you.
Yeah. Then they leave and be like, come back. I don't know. But I think you gotta step in. I don't know.
I don't know why. It's when they leave and you're like, come back. I don't know why. It hit me so funny.
Come back.
Come back.
Come back. It's Rose on the
I know, that's exactly
the
what
lifeboat with the little whistle. Like, come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.
I'll never
let go. Bye, bitch. Like, that's what she did. I don't know. That's a discussion for a whole other podcast. She sat there and said, I'll never let go. And then she let him go.
I don't see the reason he couldn't live.
She did throw the necklace back to him several years
They
later.
did they? Yeah, well, that was stupid too.
I went down and got it for you.
She's so selfish. She's very selfish, really, in that whole situation. I mean, the whole movie she was.
She's so unhappy.
Oh, I know, but she was selfish.
Schmidt started his Billy Zane fan club.
Why couldn't they have
The Zaniacs.
Why couldn't they have taken turns in the water?
I always said that too.
Because obviously, if they couldn't fit on the door, although, there's all the studies about the door and people say they could fit on the door. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. What if they took turns in the water?
It's such a chivalrous thing to do.
Well,
I'd
you
leave
would've
Candy Thunder on
lived.
the door. I'd let myself popsicle.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I would just allow that.
Yeah, I like how you use the word allow. Like you would have the physical strength to like.
I would just get off the door myself.
Then you guys would end up both freezing the water because you'd be arguing
don't
about
think
who's
that would
going to go on the
happen.
door and
Yeah.
you both die.
I don't think that would happen.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Be like die with a permanent eye roll for both of you because you're pissed off at each other. Because you're both like, no, you get on the door. No, you get on the door.
What did they die
Get
of?
on the door.
100
Stubbornness.
years later,
Stubbornness. That's what they died of.
find us like Captain America, but we're going like this.
But also kissing at the same time.
Like how they die. Well, they could have lived.
Yeah.
At least one of them could have lived, but they were too busy arguing that they froze to death.
There'd be a point when I would get too cold and I'd be like, fine, I'll get on the
Thought so.
But it would be past the point. By the time you decided that, you'd be like about to die anyway.
I wouldn't have the energy, the strength
You're like,
to climb onto the door.
You'd be like, I immediately regret my decision. Like, why didn't I listen? And he's like, I told you to get on the door.
She sees a Diet Coke floating by in that ice cold water, and she's like, "Oh, it'll be perfect."
Last thing you see is Candy Thunder just reaching for a Diet Coke, and it's just the ice is like frozen, and it's just right there. It's just out of.
I crack it open and that's when I go. Hear the sound one more time.
She went out with her boots on. Okay, our next story is
Start
titled,
recording.
Am I the Astronaut for Not Caring About Christmas and Treating It Like Just Another Day? I mean, I guess it depends. Like, look, if I would say if you are a parent, there's probably some damage that comes from that. I'd say if you're an individual,
Shit comes from it.
if you're an individual who's siloed and you think how you want to think without harming other people, then sure, to each his own. Believe what you want to believe. Celebrate what you want to celebrate. Don't celebrate what you don't want to celebrate. But this is really a shot in the dark because we don't have that context.
Speaking of believe, did you always get the if you don't believe, you don't receive thing? My mom always told me that. I think it was when she was trying to cling on to me thinking Santa was not real.
No, I don't think I was. I don't know that I've ever heard that.
If you don't believe, you don't receive. That was when my mom, I think thinks I was figuring out that Santa's not real.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that. I think that trying to cling on to that, like, because I feel like that's, I mean, I don't know as a parent, but like that's when some of the like innocence goes away when you.
I don't even remember how I found out, but I was like a believer for a long time.
Yeah, I was
and
too.
My parents like read it
believer?
super magical. I was a true believer.
My parents used to do the footprints with the
flowers,
Mhm.
stuff on the fireplace and like all of that.
I don't know. I think the JCPenney catalog made me a believer.
I mean,
You looked at it and you told your mom and
when the JCPenney catalog came in the mail and it was time to make the
shit
Christmas
got
list.
real.
I mean, it was like, oh, fold this page, fold this page, fold this page. And it's like, you just hand it back to your parents and be like, I expect answers by now.
I'll be awaiting your reply.
But with our kids, like the three now teens, I mean, they believed, but then at some point stopped, but it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't any kind of like their world didn't shatter.
No, Ava was probably like 3rd grade, I would say. Mm-hmm. And she even she brought it up in May, and she was talking about it, and I was like, and I just told her it was okay, to say what she wanted to say, because I knew she wanted to say it, but she does this thing where she beats around the bush, and she still does it, and and so I was like, it's okay, just say what you need to say, and then she said it, and I was like, that's okay, but I'm pretty sure she cried. I was like, it's okay, it's okay not to.
And I think for her and for a lot of kids, there's probably a fear that if you say that you won't receive gifts, right? There's this fear that, oh well, shit, if I cease the denial here.
You don't believe you don't receive.
You don't believe you don't receive.
Yeah, if I cease the denial,
I believe.
I won't get Christmas gifts. So
right.
I believe
they'll play along as long as you want them to play along. I guess that's the point.
My
I feel like texting my dad and I'd be like, I still believe. So can I?
Can I receive?
Here's a list. Here's a list.
Would you please deliver my list to Santa Claus?
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Wink.
No, I think we always just did one Santa gift, and it was never really the big gift. I think it was more the creative gift was the Santa gift.
Gotcha.
No, I mean us. That's what we did with the.
No, I know what you're saying.
And whenever you and I got together, Caden did not believe in Santa. He was old enough to know, but the littles did, and we always called them the 3 littles. But they we always did try to make it where it was most of it was from Candace and Dustin or mom and dad, and we made the special more creative type gift, the one from Santa, so it wasn't
also side note, but since Navy has been helping me wrap presents, the majority of the presents under our tree are from Navy now.
Navy's I got you that.
Everything's from Navy.
She's like, are you gonna make that one from Navy? From Navy? And then I'd say, yeah, it says from Navy. And she'd go, that's so sweet of you.
My dad was the stereotypical dad on Christmas Day when you're opening your presents, and it's
Trash
from
bag?
mom and dad. No, it's from mom and dad, and it's dad's first time seeing it too. That stereotype.
Wow.
Oh yeah, thanks mom and dad. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. You'd be like, let me see that. It was
you're welcome.
When you see the stereotypical, it's always this time of year you see the videos, and the dad when you're opening presents from your dad, and it's the first time he's seeing it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pick that out.
Let me see that card.
I feel like I'm pretty well in the know. There's some things for Ava that I don't know about.
Yeah, the clothes for the girls, I think I kind of take over. Oh, obviously I would handle that.
I don't.
I would also like a moment of appreciation for Ava's Christmas list.
Oh, the
PowerPoint presentation.
She puts together a PowerPoint presentation of everything with the images, and the images are linked images. So all they have to do is click the image and it will take them to the link in the deal. I do have to say, I'm very bad at because my dad and stepmom will be like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
We normally get Ava's PowerPoint presentation in October.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
I appreciate her.
I don't know. So
efficiency.
this year there's finally some things I'm like, okay, I kind of would like, and every year it's the same thing. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And it always is like, I don't know.
Do you want?
I was because at the same time, also I'm an adult, and most things if I want something, I can. Most of the time, I'll
unless
just
Ted spends all your money. And
Ted ran amok this weekend. That's beside the point. So I'm I was like, oh, there's a few things that I would like. So, but I sent her a list, but it had the links to everything. I took a note from Ava, because then
it makes it so much easier.
It eliminates well, what color, what size, which one of this, and I could say I want this Chiefs hoodie, or I want this Taylor Swift hoodie, or this. Well, what exact one, and how do I find it, and where do you go to find it? It's here.
Yep.
Make it easy.
There it is.
She may have a future in marketing, because it's build a path of least resistance.
It's impressive. Yeah. It is slides. It's got the pictures. It's got this. It's got transitions in there.
She did animations.
She does. And she has graphics. It is great.
It was great. I mean, kudos to Ava for putting in that. Hey, can't say that she didn't put in the work for it.
No, and we don't and she shares it. Well, she shares it to me, and then I'll share it. So we'll work from it. Her dad will work from it, and then if people ask what to get Ava, I'm hey, this is still on the list.
She sends out emails. Hi, everybody. Just want to check in on this PowerPoint. Do we need to circle back to anything and answer any questions? This whole corporate email.
See that most slides have been untouched. I'm just wondering what the
Be I noticed there's been a lot of activity on slide 3, but on slide 5, nobody's clicked anything.
This will give you the perfect like difference of our girls. Getting Kieran to even give us a tiny list was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, I don't know.
Ava had it, like I said, ready to go in October, and Kieran and we're like, please, just send us a link. Is there anything that you want? Like anything that you're like, hey, I really wish I could have this pair of shoes. Like anything that we can just get a starting point with.
Well, yeah, that's what'll happen if I'm with them. Like if I go down there and I haven't given them anything, we'll be at a store or something. And I mention something or see something. He's like, do you want that? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Not really. And I'm like, I was like, I mean, you know how bad I am at shopping.
Good to know it never ends.
How long it took me to buy shoes and like all that. I'm like, because it'll drive her crazy because I'll be there somewhere and I'll be like, store and like, oh, these are kind of nice. Do you want them? Let's get them. Do they have your size? What do you want? And I'm like, no, I just kind of was looking at them. It's fine. I don't know.
Oh my God, you're Kieran.
Watch what you say.
You're Kieran.
I like giving gifts. I'm not good at like.
Not good at receiving gifts.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know.
At least you're not the Johnny Rose of gifts, because that, then you're just a bad gifter.
I like to think I'm a pretty good gifter. The problem is that Tony/Ted doesn't always have the budget for gifts. So it's like, you know what? My gift is a hug.
I hear you.
I like to say that that the Christmas party that we did, like that's our gift. Yeah. Like that's the gift.
That's an awesome gift.
Because it costs a lot of money to put on the party, and we did it, and it was great. And that's everybody comes in there. And I'm like, this is your gift. Enjoy. Drink it up.
Enjoy the Chick-fil-A nuggies.
Drink some more. Enjoy the Chick-fil-A nuggies.
Yes.
You're like, payday is on, is it today?
We like, we need to reschedule this party. We need to make it coincide right back.
Yeah. Hey, there's no shame in that. We can do that.
Brady Thunder, he's a little bit like that too, but he'll give you something. But I asked him for 3 weeks too, and he's like, I don't know, some clothes maybe. I'm like,
their teenagers are just
what kind of clothes? It's like, some Jordan stuff. He did find one specific pair of shoes, and I'm like, okay, I'm claiming this. Do not let anyone else buy these shoes for you. Okay?
So he messaged
He's like, okay.
Kieran and Brady's mom, and he's like, I just want to confirm.
Claimed.
Claimed.
Picking
up the dead raccoon. Claimed.
I do appreciate, like, as far as our co-parenting stuff goes, like we do try not to overlap gifts or like allow the parent that has them for Christmas that year to like get the big item that they're wanting on their list. So
So the story.
Anyway, sidetracked.
Yeah. Am I the Ascon for not caring about Christmas and treating it like just another day? Without the context, I'm just going to go middle of the road 3.
I'm going to say Ascon 4.
I know the story, so I have to abstain.
Okay. Tony Spark is abstained. Candy Thunder went ElfCon 4.
ElfCon. God damn it. Why did I get Reindeer from?
Because your antlers.
ElfCon would have been so much better. No, Dusty Thunder steals
ElfCon 3.
Dusty Thunder steals the thunder again. Tony Sparks' light just gets a little dimmer.
I made a joke about living in a shadow at a work event one time. This was like years ago. And the person didn't find it funny. And I was like, no, it's just a thing that we do. It's just a thing.
Somebody like took it seriously. Like, oh.
I think so.
Like, are you okay?
I'm like, sorry, I forgot where I was. This is why I don't come to things. This is why he doesn't bring me out in public very often.
That's not okay. You shouldn't ever have to live in someone's shadow.
Yeah. Blink if you need.
When I feel like Candy Thunder prefers to be in the shadow.
Absolutely.
We live in the shadows.
Meanwhile, Tony Spark keeps running out of batteries on the light I try to shine.
They do call me the Thundertaker.
Just getting dimmer and dimmer.
The Thundertaker. Okay.
Why does he just come?
I don't know. He's the wittiest witters on this side of the Mississippi.
All right, let's dive in. I know by the title it may sound like I'm being a Grinch, but hear me out. To start, I, 32 male, always loved Christmas for most of my life. The lights, the decorations, movies, family gatherings, music, what's not to love? I always enjoyed gathering with family and friends and spending time together. I also loved giving gifts, and of course, who doesn't love receiving them? But my love for Christmas diminished almost 8 years ago. In 2015, my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer. It came as a complete shock to all of us, and she put up a strong fight for 18 months until she passed away on Christmas night 2016. I'm sure you can see where this is going now. That is when Christmas changed for me. The following year, my dad moved across the country and remarried, and holidays would never be the same. Our families, aunts, uncles, cousins, all had growing families, and our annual holiday traditions and gatherings slowly went away. It was like my mom was the glue that kept those gatherings going. I remember the first Christmas after she passed, I spent the holidays with very close friends and in North Carolina. We spent the day sharing stories and memories of my mom, but it was my first Christmas without my parents, and it was tough. That was the first time crying myself to sleep on Christmas, something that has since become a Christmas tradition, as weird as that sounds. That first year, I tried to continue with the holiday cheer and try to enjoy it, but it was hard. As each Christmas season came and went, it felt more and more just like another day. I found myself doing fewer Christmas activities and feeling less inclined to buy Christmas presents or enjoy Christmas traditions. It truly just feels like another day, and I hate that. I'm very lucky to be surrounded by a great support system of close friends who are like family, who always make sure to check in on me on Christmas, and have always made sure I know I am welcome to join them for the holidays, which I appreciate more than they will know, but it's not the same. Even on the holidays that I travel to spend with my dad and stepmom, it's like I'm just going through the motions. Frankly, I would rather stay home by myself than make the trip. My stepmom always goes above and beyond to make my visit special, but Christmas just isn't the same anymore. I hate that I have these feelings about Christmas, and I do my best to try to hide my grinchiness during the holiday season, but it's so hard to celebrate and enjoy a day that for many is a day of family and happiness when it is just a reminder of the worst day of my life. My go-to line when people ask, "Are you ready for Christmas?" is, "It's just another day." Would I love to be excited for Christmas? Of course, but I can't just seem to get over the hump, and I don't know if I ever will. I know there has to be a balance between celebrating and grieving and moving on with life, but I have yet to find it. Until then, I will keep trying to not be a Grinch and a downer for people around the holidays, and maybe one of these days I will be able to enjoy Christmas again. Any advice on how to retrain myself and enjoy Christmas again would be appreciated. So, am I the astronaut for not caring about Christmas and treating it like just another day? P.S. Candy and Dusty, sorry for being a downer. Oh, is this a follower submission?
Mm-hmm.
Holy balls. Okay. So obviously, yeah, we definitely understand why Christmas is a downer now. My first thought is this, though. Like, there will always be an anniversary of something bad happening, right? There will always be that anniversary of this bad thing happen on this day. And I think until you have something bigger and better in its place, that reminder is always going to be there. I think it's going to take finding someone to create new traditions with. Once you get to that point, I feel like you're going to feel this start to be not as big of a negative drain on you, right? And I think at that point, because you'll have a lot more control over the kind of new traditions that you create, you can hat tip to your mom through all this as well, right? You can do a lot of the things that she loved to do and create your own traditions with your new family if and when you get to that point. Like that creating the new thing, I think, is going to be the thing where you can still honor her and turn that negative into a positive. And barring, you can't just go out and find somebody and start a family, obviously. I would say in the meantime, trying to do that with close friends would be a really cool thing to do. But I think it's going to be on you to try to turn this into a positive by creating new traditions. That's where my head's at. What do y'all think?
No, I agree with you. I am going to look at this as if, from a mom standpoint, if something happened to me and my kids were still here, I would never want them to lose that magic. Like, I would want them to have that magic inside them, whether that's carrying me like in their heart and remembering things that we did together. But knowing like, Christmas is magic to us. Like
Right.
It's a time of year that like it means something very, very special to me, and, the family stuff and that's changing for us too. Like, traditions change.
Yep.
But as a mom, I would want my kids to love that day, even though that was the day that I left them. Like, I would want them to still enjoy the magic of the season.
I would come back and haunt their asses.
You 100%.
I would. I'd
Right
come
out
back
of the
and haunt
Christmas
their
tree.
asses. Yeah, I'd be like, look, what? Yeah, what are you doing? What do you? I would show up and I would try to explain to them in whatever way was possible. That
It was like an Ebenezer Scrooge type thing.
I'm the
You're
ghost
going to
of
get
Christmas
visited by
past.
my best to Bob Cratchit.
But seriously, I think you're right. As a parent, like you would obviously, one of the most hurtful things for a parent would be to see your child in pain, over and over and over again.
Right.
That would be an incredibly hard thing to do. But also, I imagine it is grief, and it's recurring grief. It's not a thing in that it's triggered by the holiday. So, first thing, probably therapy is a really good idea to talk this through and to get a better understanding of within Christmas, like what are the specific triggers in there, and try to get a better understanding of what is happening with your mind and with your body during those times. And the better you understand yourself, the better, more equipped you're going to be able to make some change happen here.
Well, if OP is here and wants to claim their story.
Yeah, it's actually my story.
Is it you?
Yeah.
I wondered for a minute.
Yeah, so it's my story. So I told Candy, I was like, I'm going to write a story, and it's going to be a Christmas story. I said, but it's going to be a sad Christmas story. And I was like, it might be too sad to use on the podcast. So that's my story.
I don't think that you had ever shared.
Also, Candy was like, I don't even know you.
With The Office that your mom had passed away on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that is not something that I knew.
Yeah, it was literally like, I was telling her, I was like, it's like 20 minutes after the Chiefs game because we played on Christmas that year. And she had cancer for 18 months or whatever it was. And we were just all there at Christmas, and she had her little Chiefs blanket. And we watched the game, and me and Dad are sitting there watching the game. And it was literally like 20 minutes later after the Chiefs game was over and all that stuff. So
she had to hang on for the.
Yeah.
Did they win?
They won. They did win.
That's what she was hanging on for.
They did win. I mean, in a Chiefs game, if you've ever watched a Chiefs game, you never know that they're going to win until this freaking thing's over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my story. And I don't know. I was telling Kenny, I was like, I feel like we probably have followers out there who are going through the same stuff, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or birthdays really or holidays in general. It's like, it's tough. And I mean, I don't know. It's just another day to me. And that's, I don't like that. Like, I don't like thinking about it like that. And that's like, you try to do all these other things, and you try to, like, if there's one thing that's good about me is I am definitely the person that I can just put on the smile and wave, boys. Like, I can just do it and go through the motions.
I don't know. That's a good thing.
No, but it is what it is. But
this is really interesting. So number one,
he wanted your authentic feedback too.
Yeah, that's why we didn't tell you.
Well, it's just you've done therapy before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you dove into the specific kind of Christmas issue?
I don't think we ever necessarily dove into the Christmas side of things. We might have at some point.
That'd be worth exploring.
It's been a while since I've been to therapy because Ted takes some of that budget sometimes.
Yeah.
But then also you get busy. I mean, you know how it is when you try to schedule it. It's just like trying to actually find the time to do it.
You have to schedule like way ahead to.
You have to schedule way ahead, and then you try to, and then you can't cancel it, and you got to try to cancel, and then you have to do days. It's a whole thing. But
yeah.
Did you go in person or?
Yeah. I did the in-person thing, which I really liked. Like, the therapist I had was great. Like, really liked him. But I didn't even think about it until I remembered, like, last year at Christmas, I remember like shooting him a Merry Christmas text or whatever, just because I hadn't been for a couple months. And then I was like, oh my God, it's been almost a year since I've been back there. I was like, what if that guy's still there? I should go see that guy sometime. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like at some point we did probably dive in a little bit on the Christmas stuff and like the family, like mom dying and stuff, because I feel like that's like a big, like, not to get into religion and politics type of thing, but like we had discussions on it. Like I struggle with religion, so we can cut this part out, but like the religion side of things and all of that, because like my mom is super religious and all that. And it's like, it's the classic, like, you get angry at God.
Yeah, sure.
Like, why? But anyway,
right.
We probably should cut the politics or the
no,
religion.
you don't
you're
have to
fine.
cut that
You're
out.
fine.
But it's,
those are real
it's
feelings.
so we did
that
like
is
dig
not
into
an
those
abnormal
discussions
thing,
and those things, and you're just like, well, I don't understand. And a lot of it's like, you don't understand.
You have questions, and you're like, you're questioning
like with
what
the
you
cancer
know.
thing, like, she had lung cancer, right? Never smoked a day in her life. Like, never, for all intents and purposes, was healthy, was normal. And so that's why it was like out of nowhere. And then you're like, so then you just sit there and you're like, why? Like,
Didn't you say genetics could have played a role?
Yeah, there was one of the doctors had mentioned something about there had been these studies because she, like, her parents were from the Philippines, so she was Filipino and like that, and they were like, there's some gene in like that region of Asia that, like, in certain people, like, can cause, it's weird. Like, but that's also crazy how that happens.
Genetics are
wild.
Yeah. Also, the human biology, here it is in 2024, and like we still don't know shit about.
Yeah,
no.
Like, we don't, and COVID proved that, right? Like, we do not, as far as our tech has come, the human biology is still going to be a long way for us to understand. But is it? So you are in an antler hat with your
very festive
with your
just threw a big Christmas party.
Your Rudolph, you had a big Christmas party. So is it just the day? Is it just Christmas Day?
I think
or
so.
Is it the season?
It's a little bit more of. I don't think the season as much as you know.
I was going to
again,
ask, is this why
like,
you don't want to listen to Christmas music?
No, that has nothing to do with Christmas music.
Okay.
The not listening to Christmas music till the day after Thanksgiving has everything to do with it. It's too early. You have to wait till the day after Thanksgiving. No, that has nothing to do with it.
I was like, if it has
I
something
love
to
Christmas music.
If it has something to do with it, then I'll let up. But now that you said it doesn't.
Wouldn't you feel terrible if I
Absolutely. And I would totally respect your boundaries.
Wouldn't you all feel terrible for giving me shit about Christmas music? No, genuinely, it's because I just think you have to get through Thanksgiving before you still put up Christmas stuff.
I'm fine with the music part of it.
I don't know. I mean, the season is more of like, because like I'm all about, I mean, you know what I mean? Like I'm all about a party. I'm all about that. Like I'm good with all of that. And I think it really is more just the day. But it's also like, you like people get stressed out about Christmas and doing this and blah, blah, blah. And then that's where it's like that's just another day.
I hear
you.
Like
that. So leading up to it. And then it's that day, like, it's not like I'm just a mopey mess all day. That usually doesn't happen. Like it's happened occasionally, but like,
it's like end of day.
It's usually the end of the day when everything's over.
Yeah.
Like you're done doing whatever and having the meals and you're just sitting there and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, because especially it gets towards the end of the day and you're like, oh, you know, this was like that time of day. And like, so it usually builds up to that. But that day, and then again, that day, it's always like, whether I'm here or whether I'm in Florida or whether I'm wherever, it's just like, I don't know. Everybody's making big meals and doing this and watching. And I'm like, okay. Like,
I don't think that, well, okay. So first, you've started making your own traditions now since then, right? Or are these things that were done whenever she was?
You mean like the Christmas party that you just had?
No, that was after that. Yeah.
So you've got some new traditions that have started. What do you typically do on Christmas Day now?
It just depends. Like it depends on where I'm at. Like some years, like the one year I went out to my buddies out in North Carolina and we spent Christmas there. And a lot of times it's go down to see my dad in Florida. I think only 1 or 2 times I've just been here.
Gotcha.
We haven't really done like I'm just do whatever with Bonnie's family and that. And it's just, but again, even then they all have like their own, like Bonnie's kids all have their own thing. So like if we see them all, it's just for a little bit. And it's just kinda, I don't know. It's just is what it is. But there's been times like I will like, I was in Florida last year. I think it was the year before. Like they all went to Bonnie's kids deal, whatever. And breakfast, like they went here for breakfast and there for lunch. And like, I was like, they like begged me to go with them. And I was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear.
Because there's some years where I'm just like, I don't want to, like, I just would rather, I'm just going to sit at home and I'm just going to watch TV or just chill. Like, I don't want to go.
Well, okay. So 2 things. Where are you this year?
I'll be here.
You're here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the Chiefs play this year. They're having a big thing. I'm making a big pot of chili and cinnamon rolls and all that shit.
Nice.
For the Chiefs game this year. So.
Okay. Well, at any downtime during that day, you were 100% welcome to come hang out with us.
Well, thank you. And see, that's the thing. Like I have so many people that do the same, like say the same thing. Like I have a great like group of friends and extended family, like all of that it's always like, and it's any holiday too. It's because they know like my dad's in Florida, you know, so it's always like, I'm good. Like I'm good. I got it. Like it's fine. But
all of that is going to still just be a distraction.
I was going to say, but realistically, it is like 100% okay to miss the hell out of your mom on Christmas Day. Yeah. Because I can have empathy and like try to understand, but I don't understand that part of life yet. Like I've had loss, but not a parent loss. Yeah. And so I know that like the missing my mom part, like that would be like incredibly difficult. And so I think it's 100% okay to miss the hell out of your mom on Christmas Day. And you don't have to let it be just another day. I mean, like visit your mom, like whatever that looks like for you. Yeah. Like make that a new tradition.
If I'm here, like I go there, put flowers, and whatever on that. And then, you know, years when I'm gone on Christmas, I'll either go before or after, one of the two. But
I think like facing that and like looking at that grief and getting comfortable with that grief. And I read something that said like, the more that we run away from those emotions, like the more that we fear, the more that we're scared, we can never be like our true authentic self because we're not sitting with those emotions and like getting comfortable with them. So until you're completely comfortable with the grief of losing your mom and like really facing that, like, will you ever be able to look at Christmas the same way again? So it's like you have to sit with that grief. So I think it's okay to be like angry and say what you need to say, and even if you're shouting to yourself, like you're pissed.
And that's usually what happens. And usually it's like, I mean, you know how it is, like when you have that good cry and it's like, you're just letting it out.
Yeah.
So that's usually what happens like Christmas night. It's usually I'm just laying in bed
good.
there and I'm just there. And like last year, my cousin randomly sent me this video, and it was these 2 videos from when we were little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like my mom and all that. And I was like, it's this weird thing to describe. And anybody who's lost a parent or lost somebody, like, you don't forget them, but you like forget how they sound. You forget like their voice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She sent me these videos, and it was, my mom has this thing for her laugh. Like everybody loved her laugh and like smile. And it was just this video of her like laughing. And it was this old like thing. And you talk about some waterworks. Yeah. That was a whole thing. But then I was also like, I told her, I was like, that was like one of the best Christmas things I've ever gotten. Like, cause it was that day, it was that moment. And like hearing her.
It was like, a positive memory.
Yeah.
And not
like
just
hearing
the anger.
her, you're like, wow, I got to hear her voice. I got to see her.
So for a second, I was thinking along this, like you're going to grieve, and this day is always going to be a trigger. So why not embrace it? And like, go look through the old pictures and videos that you have, and remember, like really focus on the positive times that you had with her. And you're still going to grieve and you're still going to cry. And a portion of that is still going to be angry, right? But you're going to feel so much of it with the positive memories of that time that you had with her. And I think that's going to make it over time a lot easier to make it not something you're ever going to get away from, but to make it a positive thing that you start looking forward to rather than something you start dreading.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now, like even the whole day that you go through Christmas Day, you have that dark cloud looming over you because you know the end of this day is going to bring anger and the waterworks, and like that's not going to go away.
And I really think that I've kind of gotten past the dreading it part. Like it's not like I dread it. It's not like I'm like Christmas is tomorrow. Like it's not like I've gotten past I think that, and now it's just that like it's that next one. It's that next like okay. Like we've gotten past the part of not looking forward to Christmas, but like now how do we get to the like okay, you can like enjoy the day type of, and I mean not to say that I don't enjoy the day. Again, I don't sit around, I'm not mopey all day.
No,
and like
you're
if
not
I'm
that person.
If I'm at my parents or if I'm at my dad's or I'm at this, like I'm not just sitting there in the corner.
No,
like,
but like you said, you can do the smile and wave.
Yeah,
and that's not being true to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can get to a point where you're true to yourself and able to genuinely enjoy that day, even the grieving part, I think that's going to be like a huge feeling of growth for you.
Something that, and I say this again as somebody who has not lost a parent, but something that feels like it would feel right to me would be to wake up on Christmas Day and like eat your frog, like face that grief first thing in the morning, look through the videos and like have a special video that you watch on Christmas Day that like brings you happy memories of your mom. And whether that's just multiple videos of her laughter but like the first thing you do when you wake up is embrace the happy that your mom had. And like, even if it's like you have an album of Christmas photos, like of you guys together at Christmas, and like embrace those feelings and like never let those memories die, and slowly let that, what happened to you in 2016 on Christmas night, like let that part of it fade, and let it be replaced with these happy memories that you remember from happy Christmases where it wasn't this. And
I always sit back and say, I'm like, man, could it have been like 4 hours later and it wouldn't have been on Christmas Day or like
that's hard,
the night
Johnny.
before, and you're like, damn, like of all the days, although there's some like, I don't know, there's something that people who like, it's like special or something when you like some kind of Christmas story, like Christmas angel thing or whatever. But so I don't know. The whole point of this was not like a woe is me, like poor me on Christmas, but like I know that there's people out, like I know that our followers go through this. Like I know that people, and like there's somebody out, like there's people hopefully that, well not hopefully, but like people listening that like I'm fine, that are in a worse position than I am, and I've got things worse than I do. Fine. Like you know what I mean? So it's like
but it's okay to
the
not
goal
be
is to just help. Like the goal of this was like to help somebody too. Like
absolutely.
Like, they're in the same spot, and maybe you've just lost somebody. Maybe like this is your first Christmas, because like that's the toughest. Like it's that first one, and it was tough too because the circumstances, like because my dad was in Florida, so I wasn't. This was my first Christmas after losing my mom.
Right.
I wasn't with my dad. It was my first Christmas in my entire life to not be with my parents, and it was like. So that was like a double whammy of
tough.
Sure.
This is weird. Like it's just really, really weird.
Yeah.
And that was probably the one Christmas out of all of it where it was like, I wasn't saying I'm mopey all day, but like everybody
I would be.
Was like, it was I was not the most cheerful person.
And the people who love you and are close to you,
and they all knew that. They all knew that. And it was when we're sitting around having dinner, it was tell stories about mom and do this. And it was, and then it was just like, all of a sudden people realized, oh, where's Tony at? Cause I was upstairs. I just wanted to be in a dark room. And I just was like, it's not good. But,
right.
Then you get, and I think again, it's that first like getting over it thing. But it was weird. I mean, it was because again, it was that, the day that she died was that first Christmas of it was just feeling like another day. Because even though it was that night, like we didn't open presents in the morning, we didn't do any of that stuff. It was like my dad needed help in the morning because, I mean, I don't know how in detail you want to go with it, but something had happened Christmas Eve, like to where dad woke up Christmas Day and it was like, this is not good.
Gotcha.
She was very, I think they think it was a stroke or something and happened overnight. So it went from, not that she was in the best shape anyway, but it was like one of those, you knew something
pivotal
was not
moment.
Right.
in the morning. And so it was one of those, because I planned on waking up and going over there anyway. And it was waking up, hey, you need to come over here, all that. And so you're spending the whole day of not doing any, the most normal thing we did was watch the Chiefs game. And it's just like, and so, there's that first day of that feeling just like another day. And then all that happens. And then the rest of it, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. I get it. And I think you're right. There are, and going back to what I said before I knew this was your story, I think there can be an anniversary of a bad thing happening for anybody, for any given day. Obviously, this is like the magnitude of this is beyond compare, right? But I know a lot of people get stuck in this cycle of like this day, this bad thing happened, and this day, this bad thing happened, and they relive that every time that comes along. I don't think you ever escape the grief. I think it becomes a part of who you are.
Absolutely.
But finding a part to accept that part of you and turn it into as positive of a thing as you can is the way to step forward and to stop dreading those days. And it takes a tremendous amount of strength, I'm sure. And I'm with you. Like, still have both of my parents, so I can only speak from what I think would be the right thing there. But I know a lot of people within our community have suffered a lot of loss, and I imagine after going through enough of it, it's really easy to feel beaten down by it and controlled by it. And I can only hope that someday when we have to cross that bridge, that I can navigate it with some kind of grace. But
I'm not crossing that bridge.
Shit.
Candace was like, nope.
I already talked to my mom.
About what?
She's not allowed.
It's okay.
It's not happening.
Okay.
Looking at you, Mom.
She's like, we already had this conversation. We've already taken care of this. We've already filled out the paperwork. It's not happening.
I've already lived my life. I'm ready. And I'm like, no.
They found her as the mom sickle right next to the Dusty sickle and Candy sickle, who are flipping each other off while kissing, and she's standing there like, good gravy.
Funny. That's funny.
So 100% NTA here.
Yes, I was just
Ascon.
Okay. Also, if you saw me while Dusty was reading that story, and you saw the smile spread across my face like 10 times, that's how bad I am at keeping a secret.
She can't,
because she knew that. So Candy read this. I sent the story to her first because I was like, "You got to read. I'm not just going to be like put this on there. Like you had to read it first." And then we were like, "Okay, we wanted Dusty's genuine reaction." And we're like, "We're not going to tell him."
So the whole time I'm like,
I am shocked that you didn't spill the beans on this one.
I was like this.
How long did you know before filming?
Thursday.
I know, that's a long time.
I'm shocked that she didn't spill the beans on this.
Yeah.
I can keep a secret if I have to keep a secret. I just don't normally keep it from people in my inner circle as long as they don't overlap. If that makes sense.
No.
Like if I know something, my husband's going to know something.
Yeah.
Except for some things. Now we know.
Apparently.
Yeah, I kept a secret for 4 days.
What else are you keeping from me?
You trying to cuck him?
If you ask me anything, you're like, are you telling the truth? And I'm like, that's a no.
She has the worst
truth and the whole cucking truth.
She has the worst poker face.
I do, but also I can use it to my advantage. But also, when I went to the principal's office in like middle school, elementary school, it was like that the whole time.
And they're like,
And nothing was wrong. I didn't lie or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like getting in trouble is like I can't control my face.
But also, this is probably compounded.
Anxiety.
This is compounded by the fact that Candy Thunder has the awkward situation giggles too. During awkward situations that you shouldn't smile or laugh during, she's gonna smile or laugh.
oh.
Because she doesn't like that's just
I think it's anxiety.
Bottle everything in,
like when the worst is when you have to go through the line at a funeral and talk to people. And then I'm like, hey, how you doing? Well, obviously not good. I don't know. I said that. I'm sorry. Bye. Like
you melt into a puddle.
Like I don't do well with death. Like I don't.
No.
I mean, nobody does well with death. Nobody likes funerals. But like because I don't know how. I'm like I don't know what to say. It's like I'm just tripping over words, and I'm like, hey, good to see it. And it's not good. I mean, it's.
So instead of
could be worse.
A funeral line at mine where you like receive people, just put like cardboard cutouts of me making this face.
There you go.
Like awkward faces.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
I know funny. It is. You'll be calling up all seasons.
I mean, without fail at every funeral. Hey, how you doing? Oh, nope. That's not it. That's not what I want to say.
Hey, how
are you? Not good.
Hey,
that's how you are.
Hiya.
I know you're not good because this is not a good thing, but it's hi. Beautiful. I don't know.
Beer. I got a beer.
Booze. Where's the booze?
Where's
Flowers.
the shots?
The booze here.
People.
Flowers. People. It's nice coffin, huh?
Dressed nice. Sorry for your loss. It was a pretty easy go-to.
Yeah.
I would not have thought of that. I would have been
like the standard thing to say to people is like, wouldn't have thought of that.
Kids let her it up. She'd be like, you lost. Malafor strikes again.
I would have just been
She'd be like, so you lost, huh?
My go-to is like
tough loss,
sad face, and just sorry, nod my head.
Be like,
and then I try to hide
you lost.
my uncomfortable smile. That's not really a smile, but it's just breaking my face. I'm like, unscrew my cheek.
She's just like, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Anxiety.
You're like, it looks like her funeral's next week.
Sorry you lost.
That's exactly what I would do.
Oh my God.
All right, let's bounce to our next story.
I think we should do the, what did you call it? Unhelpful advice?
Oh,
on this story?
Yes.
On this one?
Yes, it was it was intentionally unhelpful advice. Though I did with beer today during the podcast. So we'll do the same thing here. So we'll do intentionally unhelpful advice.
So just give your gut reaction. That's completely unhelpful.
Yeah.
And then we'll give real feedback.
Right. Okay. We'll do intentionally unhelpful and then actual advice.
Okay.
Title of this story is, Am I the Ascon for asking my boyfriend to not share how much he spends on his child for Christmas? Well, that's just a weird kind of thing to not share with who. Okay. Based on title alone. It's not unhelpful advice yet. We got to wait to get through the story.
On the gift tags, it's like $500, $250, $399.
Who's he sharing it with? Like
right on the gift tag.
The world?
I don't know. On his child. I mean, I do know. Again, I read this story. So
yeah, I've read this one too.
So this could be like blended family thing, and maybe boyfriend spends a lot more on his kid than OP spends on her kid or kids, and then there's an imbalance, and she's wanting to avoid that. So, I'm gonna go ESH on a whim.
Okay.
I abstain.
Am I the only one voting?
I abstain.
Okay.
It's a problem because we both read all the stories.
Okay.
Most of them.
I didn't read the last one.
Let's dive in. The unhelpful advice will be gold on this. I, 30 female, have been seeing my boyfriend, 37 male, for over a year and a half now. I have 2 kids, 9 and 5 from a previous marriage, and he has 1 child, 10 from a previous marriage. We do not live together, nor do we have any money together. Due to our personal situations, we have no expectations that either of these things will change for 13 years. Interesting. 13 years, one of her kids is 5, so...
That would be 18.
18, yeah.
Okay.
So there's some kind of something, but that doesn't make any sense either. We are both at the moment okay with this.
I don't know.
that shouldn't have any bearing. I mean, your partner's finances wouldn't have any bearing on that. I don't know. He has his place and financial obligations as I have mine. I left my marriage for many reasons, but my kid's dad and I have a pretty good co-parenting relationship. He does not pay child support because he has our kids 50% of the time. My boyfriend has his child every weekend and every Wednesday evening. He supports his ex with child support and alimony since she homeschools their child so she cannot work. I make less than 50% of what my boyfriend makes, so our lifestyles are very different, and how we view money is very different. This has never been a problem. However, I am starting to be very jealous of what he can give his child over what I can give mine. Yes, this is a me problem. There is absolutely nothing wrong with him spending his money how he wants, especially for his child. This year I had a couple of financial hits, so Christmas, which I felt was always tight for my kids, is extra tight. I spent about $100 each. My boyfriend knows about my insecurity of what I can do for my kids and respects it. I've bought his child a couple of gifts for Christmas, about $40 for 3 gifts, and told my boyfriend the amount so he doesn't overspend for mine, as I don't see that being fair for his child. Both my children still believe in Santa, whereas his has not, from my understanding, since he was 7. My kids never ask for a lot, so I'm always able to make it work. This year, his child has been asking for the Lego set of the Polar Express. It's a $600 set.
Legos are so
That is,
expensive.
first off, that is outrageous to spend that much money on Legos for a child. Even an adult, I mean, I guess I get it if you want to put together an adult deal as an adult Lego person, but Jesus Christ.
They're just so expensive.
They are expensive.
It's insane.
$600 for Legos?
I feel like it's plastic.
Yikes.
Of course, my boyfriend has gotten him that, as well as a couple $200 sets. I always keep my feelings to myself about my sadness that I can't even provide a total Christmas amount of one of those items for my kids because, like I said before, this is a me problem. My boyfriend just texted me about him buying his son his last gift as a 3D printer, and the amount was just under $200. So as I'm sure you can do the math, he's spending $1,000 on Christmas for his child. His child will be so happy and love everything, and that makes me so happy for him. It just makes me feel like shit because I can't even spend $200 on one of my kids, and they know that, so they don't even ask for hardly anything. Their Santa gifts are always their big item, and everything I give them are clothes, board games, a book, and one small toy. As I've said, I know this is a me problem, and I would never ask him to not spend that much on his child or help me financially with mine, but I just don't want to know the amounts of everything he gets. I haven't brought it up to him yet because I don't know if that makes me a jerk. Should I stay quiet about my feelings, or should I ask my boyfriend to not disclose the prices of what he spends on his kid?
I mean, was he disclosing the prices, or was he just like
or was
saying
she
what he
Googling
got?
it?
Yeah,
well, he's
I'm like,
got to be telling her the prices, otherwise she wouldn't have any grounds to ask him to not disclose
she
prices.
said to shit.
Don't need to go back up.
She just doesn't want to know what they cost.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, you can
listen. My unhelpful advice is that
I forgot.
My unhelpful advice is listen. They're young kids. They're dumb. Just write a price on something and say this is a limited edition book that costs $500 for a thing on a toy. But I don't understand. I don't understand. Is he telling the kids what? Is the one kid who's getting all these gifts rubbing it in the face of the other kids?
I don't know. They don't live together.
But he's not telling them not to get them those toys, right? He's just saying don't share how much they are. Is he making her feel bad that he's buying all these expensive things?
Unintentionally.
She says it's a me problem.
Yeah, she understands it's her problem. I think you should steal the gifts that he got for his kids.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
just change the tag.
There we
just
go.
give it to your kids.
Exactly.
And Wake then be like, I don't know what happened.
After the wrapped under the tree, you swap the tags.
Yep.
Kids wake up. The one kid gets some books and clothes, which he may need because all he's got is Legos and a 3D printer, so nobody needs that. Give the kids get the Legos, they open it up, and then you get to see some fireworks.
Yeah, and he gets some princess PJs.
I will never judge a parent for what they choose to spend their money on at Christmas. This is my real advice. If I wanted to provide a better one, don't fall victim to thinking that you have to do this elaborate Christmas because you don't.
Yeah, you do what you can.
You can do within your budget. But when I was a single mom and I wanted to provide for my child, I wanted to buy a house, I wanted to get a better car, I got a second job. And I did that like with a second job, like I could either take Ava with me or I had help like from my parents with Ava, but like I worked 8 to 5. I was off for about an hour and a half and then I went to my second job. In order to be able to get my house and to provide for my child. So I feel like if you want to do those things and you have a 50-50 custody, then you have a week off. Like, can you pick up another part-time gig?
Yeah.
If it's just for Christmas because this is something you want to provide for your kids, then pick that up and work, third quarter and save that money and provide whatever it is that you want to provide for your kids. Yeah. Cause I mean, you can't ask people not to spend their money. Like, that's just not fair. But if you really feel this insecure about the differences in your finances, do you really want to feel like this for 13 years?
Yeah. But okay, let's say she picks up a side hustle, which, let me back up just a hair. Whenever Candy Thunder was working her second job, it was actually me. I was her second job. It just happened to roll into a full-time thing. So
that is not true.
I'm just kidding.
I worked as
I know you didn't.
an advertising assistant, 8 to 5, and then I worked doing books for another company in the evening.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
But he did hire me.
I did hire him.
And I was able to leave both jobs.
Yeah.
Yes. And the experience from the second job. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's be clear about what he hired you for. Let's just hold on a second here.
We were not dating when he hired me.
It wasn't.
And that still does not clear. It was an office job. Okay. That's what he hired her for.
Yeah.
Yes, to be the business manager.
Okay.
She was mail order bride.
He did not.
I said,
you got to be careful about what you hired her for.
Yeah.
And I said, can you afford $600 Lego sets?
I was like, no. And she's like, okay, we'll work on that. Okay, so if OP works the side hustle and picks up the extra money so that she could do more for her kids, which, by the way, I don't think they do Christmas together, so there's not going to be a direct comparison with the kids seeing each other.
That's going to be difficult to swap the tags.
Yes, exactly. However, even if you work a side hustle, chances are you're not going to get to the point where you're spending $1,000 per kid, right? Like he is. I think my real advice here is to have a conversation with your boyfriend and let him know how you feel. That's it. And don't ask him to stop sharing the dollar amounts, but just be like, hey, I just need you to understand that like I'm doing my best and I'm going to be able to spend about $100 per kid. So when you rattle off all these things that you're really proud about getting for your kid, which I'm happy for you, and I'm proud that you're proud, like I share in that joy with you. But there is another edge to that sword, and it cuts pretty deep.
Yeah, it stings.
And it makes me feel like inferior and like I'm doing a shitty job as a mom. And I just want to make you aware so that next time you're telling me about something, you can keep that in mind. I am happy for you. I'm happy for him. I'm so glad that he's getting all this really cool stuff. I wish it didn't make me feel like shit. And I understand this is a me problem and I'm trying to control it, but I feel like I need to be upfront and share that with you as well. So if you work on this as a team, that's kind of the beginning of a relationship, right? Tackling things together, tackling problems together. Even if it is a you thing, letting him know what's happening on the inside here at least gives him some insight to stop the bleeding, right? He can stop doing damage that he doesn't know he's doing right now. Becoming aware that you're doing damage is pretty important when you are doing damage unintentionally.
If you have money, I don't think you're ever going to think about like saying stuff like this as hurting anyone because you just don't think about it.
Probably trying to imagine what it would be like.
Right. I think she's putting way too much pressure on herself.
Mm-hmm.
I think
every parent does that.
I agree. But I mean, what she said she got her children sounds like a great Christmas. So like, I feel like she keeps saying it's a me problem. Like she's very self-aware that this is a her problem,
which is a great first step.
Agreed. But I understand wanting to give your kids the world, but I don't think that should come at the cost of like your own mental health, because it feels like you're really dinging yourself hard for not being able to provide the $600 Lego set. No kid needs a $600 Lego set.
Nobody needs a $600. That's the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
I don't.
Shame on you, Lego, for selling $600 Lego sets that cost you 43 cents to make. Okay, that's a bunch of bullshit.
You're not wrong.
$600 for some Legos because you slapped a Polar Express logo on it. I call bullshit on this. This is ridiculous. For sake, whether it's a $600 Lego set,
they have $1,000
or a
sets.
$5 Lego set, they still hurt your foot no matter how much they cost when you step on the son of a bitch. So those Legos.
Ava got really into
The 3D printer is kind of cool, but the Lego set.
The Harry
Print your
Potter
own Legos. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There
here.
you go.
Buy him 3D printer. Take back the $600 Lego set. Take your girlfriend out to a nice dinner because she could use one. And then you know what? Make the kid print his own Legos. Life lesson. Maybe he could go into business, create his own Lego, and have a whole new side hustle.
Sell them for
on his
not
own.
$600.
Sell them for not $600. Print your own Legos. Continue.
Pretty much wraps it up. I love that you said take her out to dinner because she needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take her out to a nice dinner.
Which got me thinking about something else. If OP, you do share like your true thoughts and feelings with your boyfriend here, there's also a silver lining opportunity where if he is the gallant guy that I hope he is, not only will he stop flaunting this in front of you because he knows that it's doing damage, but he may also step up and do some more generous things for your kids.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, have they
does she
ever
want
had
that,
these
though?
conversations?
She doesn't want him to feel like he needs to, but if
Well,
he
then have
did
that
it,
conversation with him, though. And like, if you're already talking about being 13 years, being with somebody for this long, like you're planning on being together for a long time at some point.
right?
Yeah.
Like
If
what?
this
Maybe
was-
does she? I wonder if she shuts him down if he wants to buy presents for them. Or
I don't
wonder
think
if that's
so.
come up at all.
I don't think so. I think she's got this in her head where, she spent $40 on his kid and told him the amount so that he didn't overspend on her kids because she doesn't think that would be fair to his kid. I'm like, okay, look,
She is making this so much harder than it
the
needs
kids
to
aren't
be.
tracking the prices on shit, lady.
No.
Like they
don't know
You're
what
being so hard on
know
yourself.
whether Legos cost $600. Well, actually, he's probably seen them, but they don't. Kids,
They don't
feel like
understand
know
that.
what that money
Yeah.
means. Whether
They don't
it's-
understand
They can
that.
see $600 or $6 or $5, and they don't know the
Right.
difference.
I was just thinking like, and you guys both gave solid advice, and mine was like, if you want to provide more, then earn more. But I was like, growing up, like that's kind of how we did it in my house.
Yeah.
Like it was like, I mean, we had a great life growing up, but it wasn't like this. We weren't poor, but it wasn't anything over the top. I wouldn't expect that my parents spent much more than she did on Christmas. But it was like, if you wanted something, you had to earn that thing.
right.
Like you had to work incredibly hard to get that thing. And so that's I think how I look at life, and instead of
being upset about not having something.
Instead about and complaining and telling other people to shut down what they're spending or just shut down talking about it. I'm like, if I wanted that, like I would just work harder to get that thing. Like, but
I get it.
she doesn't need it.
Right.
This is not a need. This is a want.
So here,
And you want to provide for that.
Yeah, agreed. I completely. If it was something, and if it was truly the amount that you want to be able to give more, there are ways for that to happen, and that's the point. However, think back about all the Christmases that you had as a kid. Can you recall opening one single gift? Can you name any gift that you opened?
Yeah, my daughter still plays with the stroller. This is the best gift. One of the best gifts I ever got.
But it's like maybe you can maybe think back.
You have to think really hard to
about
try
a
to
couple of things.
remember a couple of things.
What do you remember about those Christmases?
Opening gifts.
You remember being with your family.
Yeah.
You remember
My dad
sitting around
recording.
them. Like you can't remember exactly what was inside the box that you were opening. You remember being together.
Yeah.
You remember the time. You remember the magic. You don't remember the stuff.
Oh, you know what's funny is that I didn't even open that stroller because my mom said she got the boxes from JCPenney, and they had sent 2 of one item and not 1 of each item. And so it came with a thing that said, I think that may be why I remember it, but it said Santa made an oopsie or something. And so it was 2 of the same items. It was 2 of the balloons. You know the big balloons where you could like blow them up and then put stuff inside of them?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Faba balloon or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's why I think I remember
But
that.
it's like you say with that, even if you have that small budget, like you can buy a bunch of smaller gifts and a bunch of smaller things that don't cost so much, and they're gonna love opening more presents than that. And just try. You can get creative with it with what you're doing.
Right.
I think it's more about, like you said, it's more about the morning of the opening the gifts, like being with your parent, and
They care
and
more
making
about
the
the
memory.
magic and the time. We care.
This goes
we
back
as
to what
parents
you
care more about the stuff and what we're getting them and feeling like we're treating each kid equally and that we're doing enough. We as parents and as adults care more about that. They don't give a shit. They want to know that they're loved and they want to spend time with you, and that's it.
I think kids care more, like looking back, like you said, about the gifts. Like you remember the experience, you remember the trips you went on, like those kind of experiences that you had with your family. not so much about every gift that you opened on your birthday or every gift that you got for this holiday or that holiday.
I remember
it was more about what you did with your family.
It's the experience.
And how you felt in that moment.
Yeah.
I remember my dad throwing a blanket over each one of our heads. I've told you this. He'd come get us from our bedrooms, throw a blanket over our heads, and carry us into like the kitchen area, and we'd have cinnamon rolls Christmas morning every year. But the blanket over our heads was so that we couldn't see all the Christmas shit as we were walking by, right? It was a tradition. So it was, that's like the only thing I remember from Christmas as a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember a single gift that you got.
Don't think so.
I mean, I remember some gifts, like especially when they were like a bigger gift or something that you were like one of those milestone type of bigger things. But again, it's more of the, like when you wake up and there's Santa's footprints and you made the half-eaten, you make cookies the night before. Like it's all these things that you can do to
Santa left his crack pipe behind.
Yeah, that where to where like the gifts are almost secondary. Like if you do that, like it doesn't matter what you spend on it. Make cookies with your kids the night before. Do the Santa stuff. Do all of those things like to make it special.
Right.
So put more effort into the memories.
Wrap their door. They have to go through wrap it. Do something. Yeah. Do all these fun things.
And not just effort, but stock. Right. Like because OP has so much emotional stock behind the dollar amounts and feeling like she's doing enough. Start putting more emotional stock into the experience side of it too. Because right now, like OP's comparing herself to where her partner is at.
Right.
Start comparing your feelings about this to your kids' feelings about this, and I think you'll find another disparity there. So there's two angles here. Like understand and recognize that your kids don't care that much. They care about the experience. So lean into that. And also, I do think if you explain this and had a really good heart-to-heart conversation with your partner here, there's a lot of good that can come from that. So at least make him aware that he's unintentionally doing damage so he can stop doing damage. And I think he would choose to stop doing damage. And even more good could come of that. So yeah, this is a you problem. This is a you problem, but where do you go from here? You've got some options.
Right. So if her boyfriend responds with like care and understanding, then you know that you're in a solid relationship.
Right.
If he responds with being dismissive, then you also have your answer.
I just spent another $2,000 on 4 more Lego sets.
But like with him wanting to get these things though, I feel like if you had I feel like, I don't know, maybe we don't know, like he would probably be willing to buy you.
Any one of us
like,
would do that.
Buy your, and if, and if you really want to get technical and you don't want to buy things, he'd probably be like, fine, I'll loan you the money to do this and you can pay me back. And if that made her feel better.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Santa will be
you know what I
leaving
mean? Or something
bag
like,
on your doorstep.
But again, I think it just comes down to you need to have you gotta communicate this and what your feelings are. And you say it's a you problem, but you need to let him know that. Because otherwise, like at some point, will he start thinking he's doing something wrong and
probably
being like, is he gonna start feeling bad about doing it,
right?
Like about buying this.
Probably,
He's like, I don't. He's gonna feel bad, like being a piece of shit. Then is he gonna try to hide what he's spending on stuff, and then becomes a whole like it's just a snowball thing. So you just need to like if you've identified that it's a you problem, talk to him about it. He's your partner. You want it. You're planning on being with him for a long time. Talk about it.
Yeah, give it a chance.
I wonder why they choose not to blend their families.
They said they're situational things. 13 years. I mean, the 18-year thing is the only thing that makes sense to me, and she's got some kind of legal reason or custodial reason for not blending, which I don't understand, but
or they just don't want to get married.
I don't know, yeah.
Maybe, but there's some kind of reason there for them doing that.
It's interesting.
Also, last note for you, OP, all of this to say, like, it is a you issue, yes, but understand that this is a pride issue. Like, the issue that you're having is pride. It is, and that's it. That's it. And we as parents, like that's natural. Okay. It's natural for us to want to feel like we're giving our kids enough. We want to be proud of the job that we're doing and the experience that we're giving our kids. But that pride can have negative effects too. And this is one of those cases.
I was just thinking that our kids really, truly care more about the time that we spend with them.
Yeah.
Than they care about
the stuff
that we're getting them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think like this year, like I feel like we really did not go as hard. Like we got like Navy, we got her the couple of toys that we wanted to get her, and the other kids, like we didn't
go crazy. No, because they all have too much stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's that
I was made
there's too much stuff.
I was made the joke that like before this previous job was real estate, right? like I always joked that because real estate's a commission lifestyle. I was like, so some Christmases it was like an episode of Oprah's Favorite Things for everybody, depending on how it worked out. You're like, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get this and you get this.
That's
and you
true.
get this. And then other years it was like, here's your free hug coupon.
Right.
Like it's just like you gotta, and nowadays it's just more like, yeah, listen, you're getting a free hug coupon. Like it's, if I get you something, I get you. But I'm also the type of guy too that like with people and like, I'll just get them something randomly sometime throughout the year too. Like I don't feel like
just when you're thinking
there was probably, I would
Those
say
are the best gifts though.
I would say like 6-7 years ago, it was more of like me and some of my friends would like get, I missed what you said.
No, it flashed me back to the Schmidt being like, here's a cookie, man.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
what's
Well,
this
like
for?
maybe 6 or
Give
7
me
years
cookie,
ago,
gotcha,
it was
cookie.
kind of like, you know, I had some friends that I would get something, like we'd kind of get stuff. But then it's like, but then once they start having kids and you start doing that, it's like, I'd rather just hang out. Like, I'd rather them come and hang out and we go do something together than worry about buying gifts. And you know what? And they don't expect it. Like none of them expect it. Like whether it's Banks or Stella or my nieces or whatever, it's like none of them are like, oh, did you get, like, it is what it is. Like if I happen to get them something for Christmas, I happen to get you something for Christmas, and like it is what it is. But yeah.
Presents, they're like presents and time are presents, not PRESE and TS, PRESE and CE.
I mean, obviously,
presents is
my presence is always a present.
Is it? Yes, it's a present. Yeah. Put a bow on that.
So give presents, not presents.
Yeah.
That should be
that's the moral of our story.
Shirt. Give presents, not presents.
And I think even kids, you know, even if they don't want to admit it, as they're flipping through the JCPenney catalog of old,
It's the best.
they value that more. They may not say they want that more, but they value that more. Okay, we got to bounce over to our next story here.
Okay.
I think this is the last story.
Is it?
Yeah.
5?
Yep.
Okay.
I think,
Well, good timing because I got 6 minutes.
I don't know. I really love that. Give presents, not presents.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I feel like it's something you'd see.
I do feel
like
bad
it's a
for
sign
the-
you'd see at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Also, kids, we're taking all your presents back and we're just going to spend the day together.
I just
talking.
Like, thinking about that, I'm just going to say, I do really feel bad for that OP.
Me too.
I think she's putting so much pressure on
She's
herself
putting on herself.
that
I mean,
she's
she's doing
ruining
herself.
her own joy for the holiday
Mhm.
because she's so worried about these dollar amounts. And I really hope that she can see past that and figure out what's going to make her and her kids happy.
Yeah.
Like boyfriend and his kid aside.
Well, also understand if you were dating someone else who wasn't as well off as you are, like, and their kids weren't receiving as much as your kids are for Christmas, how would you feel then? You know, because there's always going to be a kid who gets more, and there's always going to be a kid who gets less. Always. Like you cannot compare your situation to someone else's because it's not the same. All right, let's go. Title of this story, our last one for this Christmas edition of the Dusty Thunder podcast, is Am I the Astronaut for making my manager dig through a jar of mayonnaise for Christmas?
Blah.
Okay. Based on title alone.
I haven't read this one.
3.
Should have done it differently.
2.
I'm going NTA.
Oh.
I love mayonnaise. I don't want to put my fingers in it. It's mayonnaise.
I don't want to put my fingers in it. Just the sound.
How is that
the sound of your hand in the mayonnaise jar. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'd put my finger in a peanut butter jar.
Okay.
Crunchy.
Now,
Crunchy or creamy?
anytime somebody says they love something, I'm going to be like, do you love it enough to put your fingers in?
I normally use a spoon, though. A spoon of peanut butter. I don't want to put my finger in the jar, so it's gross.
Gosh dang.
Is this, am I missing something?
No, just
I'm just imagining coming home and finding you full scale finger a jar of peanut butter.
I just said I wouldn't put my fingers in it. I don't want it under my nail.
you just said you would put your finger in it.
All right. This is a follower submitted story. Hooray.
Hooray.
I, 22 male, worked in a retail store previously for around 4 years. During my first couple of years, I realized there was one coworker I particularly hated more than anyone else. We'll call her Katie. Katie was horrible. She was an assistant manager, but it was more like an assistant to the regional manager kind of situation.
Shout out The Office.
Heyo, if you watch The Office. She thought she had all the power and she had none. So to speak, Katie did not like me and I did not like her. But at that point, it was still a passive dislike of each other, I thought. So I didn't think she'd actively try and straight up screw me over and have me cooked for Christmas dinner, but here we are. The office was doing a white elephant gift exchange, and I drew the name of our store manager. The year before, they gift wrapped his office, so I knew I had to go all out. After some thinking, I had a plan. Step 1, mayonnaise in the jar form. Step 2, plastic freezer bag. Step 3, insert a gift card to my manager's favorite restaurant in said bag. Then insert said bag in said mayonnaise jar. From there, I wrapped the mayonnaise, then boxed it, wrapped the box, and repeated for about 5 times. In the final box before the mayo, I left a note and some latex gloves and said, "Happy hunting, Merry Christmas." So the whole joke was, yikes, he's got to dig through the mayo, but he gets a big gift card to his favorite restaurant. So the problem was, I didn't know what restaurant that was. So I asked Katie, seeing as how she had worked with him far longer than anyone here, like 8 years. She says, "Oh, it's Jimmy John's." So I get a $50 Jimmy John's gift card and put that sucker right into the mayonnaise jar, and I buried it real good too. So it comes time to open presents, and my manager is having a wonderful time unboxing present after present box until he reaches the mayonnaise. He digs through it and finds the gift card. I expect a sigh of relief, and instead I hear, "Wow, I hate Jimmy John's. What an asshole." Shit. A comment that he says to Katie. Gears start turning in my head, and I realize I've been finessed. Now I look like an asshole who made my manager dig through mayonnaise for a gift card he doesn't even like. I'd never make someone wiggle their hand around a mayo jar for a gift card they didn't like. I'm not a heathen. I tried to explain that Katie was the one who had told me to get that gift card, but it was awkward, and I don't think he really bought it. He seemed to like me a whole lot less after that, and my coworkers were split 3/4 on if I was the asshole either way.
Specific number.
What a bitch.
Or if the present was truly ruined by Katie. It sucked because I did truly intend to get him an actual good gift card. That was the beginning of a long list of bullshittery that Katie pulled. But I guess my question is, am I the astronaut here for the entire thing, or is Katie the culprit for sabotaging my mayonnaise extravaganza?
What a
NTA.
bitch.
Katie.
NTA.
Katie goes straight to Ascon 1. That is some shitty. It's not like her doing that over the manager harder than it did the person who was giving the gift.
Both.
Well,
You dirty
the person
bitch.
giving the gift over OP, because then now
Both
the manager
equally.
doesn't like OP anymore because of that.
So she won.
Also,
she won hard.
OP's first mistake was trusting Katie.
Yeah, why
he
would you ask
knew
Katie?
that she
You knew
didn't
better.
like him. He knew I would not have gone to her. Somebody else surely should have known that what his favorite restaurant is. I thought I would have asked the boss before I would have asked Katie, because it seems like Katie would have been ready to you over no matter what.
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, I'm thinking of going on a date with my girlfriend. Where's your favorite restaurant?
Yeah.
Also,
Done. Katie.
22 male. Okay, OP is a young dude who doesn't know to expect this kind of petty bullshittery.
And mind.
I want to know how
from
old
ladies.
Katie is.
Katie, we didn't.
It didn't say.
But Katie had worked with,
She's gotta
with
be
the
like,
boss
I bet
for 8
she's-
years.
So she's got to be at least older than.
I'm going to say 30.
I'm 40s.
30
I'm
minimum.
40s.
Yeah.
Oh, what a.
She's on a power trip. She's been there for a minute.
Well, like you said in there, the assistant manager is more like the assistant to the regional. She thought she was more important than what she was.
Have we all?
What a bitch.
I've
all
worked with a
been
Katie.
Yeah.
Worked with a Katie. Have you worked with a Katie?
Everybody's worked with a Katie.
Oh, sure.
God.
I was a Katie for 4 years. No, I'm just kidding. I was never a Katie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I was never a Katie.
You like your plans.
This was shitty, and this was someone being shitty just for shitty's sake.
Bullshit.
Yeah, like what did
That's
she
so
even? What did she even
terrible.
gain from this? Just knocking you down a peg.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she gains out of it, is just being a fucking asshole to you. Like,
Well, and
making
getting
you look
in-
like an idiot.
Yep. She's in better with the boss because the boss didn't even believe that.
Well, probably because she kisses the boss's ass all the time.
Katie.
Katie is
Probably.
a word that we're trying to bring back.
Cuntosaurus Rex.
Cuntosaurus Rex. I mean, cuntosaurus is not the word trying to bring back. It's cunt, but
There's no cure for being a cunt.
what
Truly.
a shit move. That's a shit person.
Wow.
Over a also OP, poor OP, spent $50 on a gift card. That's a lot of money on a
Yeah.
gift card.
And a big jar of mayonnaise.
And a big jar, and all the time to wrap it and shit. And
I want to know if it was the Sam's mayonnaise, like the big.
Oh, yeah.
It would have had to be. Well, I don't know. You probably could get but it'd have to be
The jars are only that big, so you just stick your hand and pull it out. But if he was digging, that had to be like the
a
big
Sam's Club industrial size.
Ugh.
Elbow
It's a
deep.
55-gallon drum, and
It's one
he's
of those,
like, he's got a snorkel and a shit. He's got to go in there and try to get
He's
it out.
elbow deep up the ass of a mayonnaise cow. delivering a calf.
Oh, Katie, what a bitch.
And you pull it out and it's not even like to your favorite place. Dustin hates Jimmy John's.
Think about it if it was a good gift card.
Service, not the food.
People would have been talking about that gift forever. Being like, oh, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Like the man probably loved it. Like, then you just really look bad. You made him dig through a jar of mayonnaise. And it was a restaurant that he fucking hates. All because Katie decided to be a cunt.
Right.
You look bad.
Katie's the real white elephant here.
Dirty bitch.
NTA, OP.
NTA. And with that,
Ascon 1, Katie.
That's our very last story for the Christmas edition of the podcast here. We hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas holiday season. This may be our Christmas present to you. Our presents.
Our presents on your screen. And in case anybody is wondering what to get me for Christmas, a follow. That's what I would like for Christmas.
Your presence on his followers list.
My presence on my followers list.
Yep.
Also, I just have to say congratulations to my brother,
who is now officially divorced. Hey, we have so many good stories coming your way.
Speaking of Cuntosaurus Rex,
we have so many good stories coming your way.
She gone.
If we can convince him to write them down.
The witch is dead. Witch, old witch, the wicked witch.
I can't look at that story the same.
What story?
Can't be sad or can't be happy that the witch is dead.
Oh yeah,
after Wicked.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Popular.
Have a great Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy Christmas.
Follow at Tony Spark
Feliz
_ on
Navidad.
TikTok.
Stay off the ElfCon scale.
Yeah.